A young girl's lips were incredibly soft. After their lips first touched, Ling Chen couldn't satisfy himself and greedily kissed her petal-like lips. His actions became more intense, as if he wanted to devour all of her. Suer's breathing became rougher, and her heart began to beat incredibly quickly. She tried to close her mouth out of embarrassment, but in the end, she couldn't resist Ling Chen's enticement, and timidly opened her mouth. Ling Chen's tongue snuck into her mouth, and found her delicate tongue. He first gently swirled his own tongue around it, then gently sucked. Suer, who had never been kissed before, trembled as if she had been shot by lightning. A bit of Suer's saliva was sucked into Ling Chen's mouth, and tasted unexpectedly sweet, making Ling Chen desire more. He tightly wrapped his arm around her waist, as he explored every inch of her mouth. Her sweet saliva continuously flowed into Ling Chen's mouth, and some leaked out from her mouth, looking like a silver line under the moonlight. Ling Chen couldn't resist but wrap his tongue around hers, passionately and greedily kissing her. With her mouth sealed, Suer rapidly breathed with her nose in protest, in utter embarrassment and in happiness. Under Ling Chen's intense attack, her neck was raised high, and subconsciously returned the kiss as the hot air from her nose blew onto Ling Chen's face. Her small body became hotter and hotter, and forgot about how cold the night was. Her delicate arms hugged Ling Chen tightly, intoxicated in the pleasures between a man and a woman. As they kissed, she remembered the first time they met, and those scenes played themselves in her head as she felt her entire being melting. "Ah!" Suer gently cried out, and her body stiffened. Her head swayed, as if she wanted to move her lips away, and she started to squirm. She started to breathe rapidly, because Ling Chen's big hands had naughtily made their way to Suer's chest, and gently groped over her clothing, which wasn't very thick. That strange stimulation made Suer want to go crazy. As if he felt the resistance in Suer's body, Ling Chen's hands quietly departed. Suer secretly let out a breath of relief, but immediately after, an even louder moan came out of her lips. Ling Chen's fiery hands had reached inside her clothing, and were groping around unrestrainedly. "Ah, big brother! Ling Tian!" Suer mumbled, her mouth still sealed by Ling Chen's mouth. Her body squirmed as Ling Chen's hands moved around, causing her face to become incredibly red. A lump of softness entered Ling Chen's hand, and felt incredibly glossy. Suer's breasts weren't that large after all. She was still quite young, but their shape was simply flawless, and they felt incredibly smooth, as if they had been covered with sweet spring water. The two small beans were rubbed around by Ling Chen's palms, and soon started to stick up. Suer's moans caused Ling Chen to become even more excited. He started to feel annoyed by the clothes obstructing him, and he flipped his hands and lifted them. Although it was winter, Suer wasn't wearing much, as she had been in the warm hall before being brought out by Ling Chen. As such, Suer's clothes, from the outside to inside, were lifted up by Ling Chen in an instant. Under the moonlight, Suer's topless upper body was exposed to Ling Chen. Her body leaned against him and curled into him, and from Ling Chen's perspective, her waist was incredibly slim and appealing. Her breasts were like two jade-white bowls cupped onto her chest, and the two dots exposed in the air were a light pink color, looking like pure gemstones. Ling Chen's tongue continued to greedily wrap around Suer's small tongue, and his hands once again stretched out towards her chest. He gently held her breasts in his hands, and the suppleness made him unwilling to let go. His hot breath almost made this beautiful, statue-like girl melt. Suer's eyes became hazy. She had never been so embarrassed in her life before. However, the subconscious resistance that her body put up gradually decreased, allowing Ling Chen to play with her beautiful body. She gently closed her eyes as she leaned forwards, allowing Ling Chen more access to her body. A cold gust of wind blew over, causing Suer's topless body to shiver. This caused Ling Chen's actions to pause, and he came back to his senses, unreluctantly taking his hands off her chest and wrapped his arms around her. He gently hugged her against his body, her soft breasts sticking to his chest. Su, are you cold? Ling Chen looked down at the kitten-like girl pressed against his body as he gently asked. After experiencing that passionate kiss, Su'er's face was red as a rose, and her face was beaded with sweat. Her long eyelashes batted, and her delicate lips parted as she panted for breath. She looked so beautiful that Ling Chen found it difficult to breathe. Su'er gently shook her head and lay in his embrace, so embarrassed that she couldn't look at him. I'm sorry for scaring you and allowing you to get cold, Ling Chen said apologetically as he blamed himself. Su'er was simply too cute and smelled and tasted like a delicious dessert. He simply couldn't resist tasting her. Su'er once again shook her head as she mumbled, as long as it's Big Brother Ling Tian. I don't mind what you do to me, actually. I quite liked it. As long as Big Brother Ling Tian wants Su'er. Su'er will forever belong to Big Brother Ling Tian alone. Ling Chen was so touched that he felt a warmth within his heart. He pulled Su'er's clothes back on, then put his suit around her. The night had grown colder, and Ling Chen was afraid that Su'er would catch a cold. He put his arms around her as he said softly, Let's go, I'll take you home. MMM. Su'er obediently replied as she lovingly leaned against Ling Chen, unwilling to get up. Tonight, Su'er definitely wouldn't be able to sleep. After an hour without any news, Su Hongcheng and Su Yicheng, who had been relatively calm, couldn't help but start to worry. After 2 hours passed, they started to pace back and forth at the entrance to the hall. Every few seconds, they would stand on their toes and look to the distance. An hour ago, Murong Shou had started to cry and hadn't stopped since. Could it be that Su'er No! No way! That person definitely wouldn't hurt Su'er. Terrifying thoughts repeatedly surfaced in their minds, and they repeatedly cast them away, and no one said anything. After standing outside and braving the cold wind for so long, they had started to shiver, but no one was willing to go back inside. There were tens of military personnel standing around them, as they also silently waited. Miss Su'er. Miss Su'er is back. This cry sounded like a peal of thunder, and Su Hongcheng and Su Yicheng almost jumped up. They turned around and saw Su'er walking over with a white suit draped around her. Dad, Uncle, Auntie. Seeing their faces that were almost blue from the coldness, Su'er's tears started to fall before she could finish her sentence. Su'er. Murong Shou emotionally cried out and stumbled as she rushed up and pulled Su'er into her embrace. In just an instant, she was sobbing her heart out. Although she wasn't Su'er's biologically mother, after being together all these years, she already treated her like her own daughter. Her worried heart was finally at rest. Girl, phew, it's good that you're back. It's good that you're back. Su Hongcheng gripped the corners of his clothes as his pale face gradually regained its rosy texture. The burden on his chest lifted as he gave a sigh of relief. Girl, are you all right? Are you hurt anywhere? It's cold outside, so let's go in to talk. Just as Su Yicheng finished speaking, he gave a loud sneeze. After entering the warm hall, before the three seniors had recovered from the cold, they started to rapidly fire questions at her. After confirming that she was completely fine, they finally calmed down. Did he drop you back? As Su Yicheng asked this question, he suddenly realized something shocking. Su'er hadn't walked over from the main entrance or the back entrance, but from her room. The Su family's security was incredibly tight. Being able to bring Su'er back to her room, undetected, was an almost impossible feat. That Ling Chen was a monster among monsters. Su'er replied in a small voice. Girl, I want you to answer me truthfully. You and that Ling Chen, have you known each other for a long time? In the end, Su Hongcheng couldn't help but ask that question. He could already guess what the answer was, but he still wanted to hear it from Suer's mouth. Moreover, the white suit around Suer's shidrez was evidently the one Ling Chen had worn. Su Yicheng and Murong Xiao also held their breaths, waiting for Suer's reply. If Ling Chen hadn't warned her, she would have been given a big fright. Suer rarely lied, especially to her family, and she looked down as she softly replied, when did you get to know each other? Su Yicheng deeply frowned. Suer rarely interacted with strangers, and was quite afraid of strangers, especially males. How could she know such a terrifying and dangerous person? Suddenly, he thought of something as he uncontrollably yelled, "At the banquet, you said you liked someone. Could that Ling Chen be the person you like?" This. Su Hongcheng was so scared that he started to stutter. After coming back, Suer didn't look frightened at all, and her eyes looked a bit hazy, as if she had experienced great joy. The more he thought about it, the more likely it seemed, causing him to break out in cold sweat. "That's impossible. It's definitely impossible. Yicheng, don't be silly." Murong Xiao immediately denied it. She even rejected Shui. How could she? After saying half of the sentence, Murong Xiao suddenly stopped speaking. She had wanted to say how could she like such a person, but when Ling Chen's figure appeared in her mind, she was unable to say it. That person had torn through the Long family's defensive lines, turning the Long family upside down. He had annihilated the Long family's 7 main forces, defeated Murong Xiong Tian with a single punch, and publicly castrated Xianyuan Shui in front of Xianyuan Sheng. Apart from this person, who could do such a thing? Moreover, he was incredibly young, and seemed to be in his early 20s. Which young man in China could compare to him? Even Long Tian Yun and Xianyuan Shui couldn't be compared with him. Moreover, his looks and demeanor weren't ordinary either. For an extraordinary person like him, there were only people who weren't good enough for him. There was no one he wasn't able to go for. His attractiveness to women was simply irresistible. Which young girl wouldn't fall for such a strong man who could protect them forever? Suer liking him would be completely normal. However, he was someone who was enemies with the Long family and was a national fugitive. The unconscious Tian facing her relative's surprised questions, Suer didn't become anxious or nervous. Instead, she silently lowered her head. She wasn't afraid of her family knowing. In fact, she was considering telling them herself. Before today, Suer's feelings towards Ling Chen had been quite conflicted. She wanted to be with him, but almost couldn't see the possibility of them being together. However, tonight, when their pinky fingers had interlocked and made that promise, a stunning change had taken place within her heart. She wouldn't allow anything to destroy that dreamlike promise. Suer's silence was, undoubtedly, an affirmation that the person she liked was indeed Ling Chen. This silence sounded deafening to Su Hongcheng, Su Yicheng, and Murong Xiao. A disaster. This was a disaster. "Girl, why you couldn't really have fallen for Ling Chen?" Su Hongcheng felt his scalp go numb, and he stuttered, finding it difficult to breathe. The things Ling Chen had done at the Long family's residence, as well as his current situation, were all things he was familiar with. Apart from that, he was also an incredible man, let alone the younger generation. There was most likely no one in all of China who could compare to him. However, he was the archenemy of the Long family. The hatred between them could never be resolved. If Suer was together with him, the Su family's future. Suer's head hung even lower. However, this time, she gave a soft mm. Hearing this confirmation, the three people's faces darkened. Su Yicheng let out a long sigh as he heavily said, "Girl, Ling Chen is an incredibly attractive person, but do you really know him? Do you know what sort of person he is? Do you know where he's from? What his identity is? how many people he's killed. He's currently the person the Long family wants to kill the most, and everyone in China knows he's a national fugitive. If you really like him, then cut him off. It's impossible for you to be with him. That's right. He's someone the Long family wants to kill, and he even. To the young master of the Xianyuan family. If the Long family and Xianyuan family found out about the relationship between you two, then our Su family would be dragged into it as well. Your uncle's quite right. It's impossible for you to be together. Murong Xiao worriedly said. Suer's head hung low as she listened to them. She could understand their perspectives, and them saying this was quite normal. Opposing the Long family, and especially to such an extent, meant that it would be difficult for Ling Chen to even reside in China. In the end, he would probably be killed by them. It was simply a matter of time. As such, they had to strongly oppose this relationship before anything came of it. Suer slowly stood up from her chair. She didn't seem agitated. Instead, she was abnormally calm. Her head remained lowered as she softly replied, "Did you know, that night when I was kidnapped? It was him who rescued me." Su Hongcheng and the others were stunned. That night, when Suer had been rescued, they had spent much effort to track down the person who saved her, but their efforts were for naught. Su Hongcheng's expression became complicated as he sighed. So it was him. No wonder why we couldn't find him no matter how hard we looked. However, even if Dad, Auntie, Uncle... Suer suddenly spoke in a small voice, shocking Su Hongcheng. For all her life, Suer had been incredibly obedient, and when they spoke, she would always quietly listen and nod. She had never cut them off before. Never. This was the first time she had cut him off halfway through a sentence. Suer looked at her feet as she mumbled, "We promised that after he fulfilled his greatest wish, we should be together forever. As long as he doesn't cast me away, my heart will always belong to him. If he is safe and well, I will be safe and well. If he leaves, I will follow him. Even if he's a national fugitive and is hated by many people, I'll carry that burden with him. If he really is a complete and utter bad person," Suers gently laughed, "then I'll be a bad person as well. Since I've decided on this, what sort of person he is doesn't matter, as long as he doesn't leave me." Suer walked off, leaving her relatives staring at her in complete shock. Su Hongcheng had watched his daughter grow up, and thought that there was no one who understood her better than him. However, at that moment, he realized that he didn't understand his daughter at all. Normally, she was incredibly obedient, quiet, timid, easily embarrassed, and didn't know how to refuse. No matter what they said, she would always nod and follow their wishes. However, her words just then showed her unswerving and unyielding determination. When someone who had always been incredibly meek became incredibly resolute towards something, that most likely meant that thing was more important than their lives. "What should we do?" Sui Chung helplessly asked. Suer's words made it clear that no matter how they tried to convince her, they would not be able to change her mind. "AI, what's going on?" "Well, we definitely can't let the Long family and Xianyuan family find out about this. Otherwise, the consequences will be unimaginable." Su Hongcheng massaged his temples, his heart feeling incredibly chaotic. The table was filled with a packaging of countless snacks. This was the deed of Tian. Because they had underestimated Tian's appetite, Guya and the others had rushed out to buy snacks when she had yelled that she was hungry. However, the snacks they had bought had been devoured by her in an instant, forcing Guya to go out again and again and again. By the time the packaging covered the entire table, the 6 people in the room were sweating. My goodness, does this little ancestor have a bottomless stomach? Why isn't Big Brother back yet? Tian grabbed a big handful of pea crisps and tossed them into her mouth as she chewed and spoke. Her crystal-like eyes continuously gazed out the window. After Chao Ying and Xiao she had returned, she had been standing at the window, waiting for Ling Chen to come back. More than 2 hours had passed, but luckily there were snacks, so she wasn't too upset. She was only a bit worried about Ling Chen's safety. He should be coming back soon. Master really likes Tian, so I'm sure he wouldn't be willing to leave you for too long. Xiao said as she sweetly smiled. You can't say that for sure. Master's having a moonlight date with your cute big sister Shura. It's possible that he won't be coming back tonight. Before she finished speaking, she started to giggle. No way. Tian vigorously shook her head. Big brother promised that he would be back before 11 p.m. Woo, if Big brother's not here, I won't be able to sleep. At this moment, a flash of light streaked across the sky. Tian's eyes lit up as she cheerfully cried out. Look! A shooting star! A shooting star! Xiao and she leaned over and saw the shooting star disappearing. Xiao lowered her head and smiled as she said, Does Tian have any wishes she wants to tell the shooting star? I heard that if you earnestly make a wish, it'll definitely come true. Tian slightly raised her head and silently looked at the night sky. She didn't move and seemed like she hadn't heard Xiao words. However, her eyes were trembling. Shooting star. I haven't seen a shooting star in so long. Shooting star. Shooting star. Shooting star. HM? Are you all right, Tian? Are you making a wish? Seeing that Tian hadn't moved or spoken in so long, Xiao and she felt that something was off, and they waved their hands in front of her eyes. Paw! The snacks in Tian's hand fell to the ground as she fell backwards. Tian. Xiao and she were both shocked and quickly caught her. When they saw her face, they were even more stunned. Tian had looked completely fine earlier, but was now pale as a sheet. Her eyes were open, but didn't have any light in them. Her lips slightly moved as her eyes closed, and she fell silent. Tian. What happened, Tian? Tian. The suddenness of what had just happened made the sisters at a loss as to what to do. They shook Tian's body a few times and yelled in her ears, but there was no reaction from Tian. What's going on? Gu and the others rushed over. Tian suddenly fell unconscious. We don't know why. What? Gu was horrified and rushed over as he touched her forehead and placed a finger under her nose. Her temperature was normal, but her breathing was a bit erratic and her face was abnormally pale. He frowned as he said, Hurry and carry her into the bedroom. Immediately call Yao and Qian and tell them to come back at once. When Ling Chen came back, naturally, he did not take an ordinary route. Ling Chen stealthily climbed up the pipeline to the roof, then silently flipped through the window. He had done this countless times in his life, and every move was executed perfectly. He could enter anyone's home without being detected. However, this house was filled with other experts, so he naturally couldn't escape detection for long. Just as his feet hit the ground, Gu rushed over as he blurted out, Master, Tian fell unconscious. What? Ling Chen was stunned as he felt his insides grow cold. He couldn't hear what Gu said clearly as he ran as fast as he could to the bedroom. Tian was quietly lying on the most comfortable bed, unmoving. Her face had started to regain its rosy color, but it was still paler than normal. Ling Chen almost leapt over to the bed as he stared at Tian, yelling, Tian, what's wrong, Tian? He suddenly got up and uncontrollably yelled, Tell me, what's wrong with Tian? Didn't I tell you to look after her well? What have you all been doing? Ling Chen had the right and power to reign over them, but he had never lost his temper at them before. Gu lowered his head as he quickly replied, Master, please calm down. After you left, Tian didn't leave this place and wasn't attacked. She was standing at the window when she suddenly lost consciousness without any warning. Don't worry, Master Yao Ying and Qian Mo are hurrying back, and will be here soon. At this moment, a rhythmic knock sounded out on the door. Guia immediately rushed over and opened the door. Two fairy-like women entered with sweat on their foreheads, along with a cold gust of wind. They were Yao Ying and Qian Mo, the ones with the strongest healing abilities in hell. Her vitals are all normal. Her heartbeat and breathing are a bit erratic, but are returning to normal. She'll be completely fine soon. Qian Mo took the small medical instrument off Tian's chest as she continued. Don't worry, Master. Tian's body is perfectly fine. It seems that the cause for her suddenly losing consciousness is her brain. Her brain? Ling Chen was mostly at ease now. When he had heard that Tian had fallen unconscious, he thought that she had been attacked and nearly lost his mind. He now felt reassured. If something happened to Tian, he would probably never be able to smile again. Her physiological functions are all fine, so it's possible that she lost consciousness because her brain received some sort of shock. Yao Ying said. But before Tian fell unconscious, she didn't receive any shock. Xiao Ying said in confusion. We'll do a full inspection first. Big sis, did you bring that medical instrument? When Yao Ying mentioned that medical instrument, she seemed a bit hesitant, as if she didn't want to use it. Ling Chen and the others' expressions slightly changed, but didn't say anything. Qian Mo replied and took out a 10-centimeter wide silver box. She placed it next to Tian's head, then carefully opened it up, and pulled out a long metallic thread. Yao Ying stretched out her hands and gently lifted Tian's head and wrapped the metallic thread around her head. After doing this, Yao Ying and Qian Mo's gazes became serious and stopped talking. Ling Chen and the others held their breaths in anticipation and didn't dare to say anything for fear of interrupting the two of them. This instrument was used to quickly investigate a person's mind. It was something that was impossible to create with Earth's technology because it came from the mad scientist. It was the only thing they had brought out of hell that had belonged to the mad scientist. It was so powerful that Yao Ying and Qian Mo simply had to bring it out with them. Every time they saw it, they would think of the mad scientist, making them feel incredibly uncomfortable. As such, they would rarely use it. However, because Tian, who was so important to Ling Chen, needed it, they unhesitatingly used it to find what was wrong with her. Buzz! Buzz! The sound of electricity flowing sounded out, and the screen inside the box lit up. However, from where Ling Chen was standing, he couldn't see clearly what it displayed. Yao Ying and Qian Mo observed the screen, and a look of shock appeared on their faces. Did you discover anything? Ling Chen was unable to bear it anymore, and couldn't help but ask. It's very strange. Yao Ying frowned, trying to figure out how to explain it. Master, did Tian's head suffer some sort of heavy impact in the past? Heavy impact? Why do you say that? Ling Chen also frowned. After Tian had come to their home, Shura had taken care of her extremely well. How could she have allowed Tian to hurt herself? He couldn't even remember Tian ever hitting her head, let alone suffer a heavy impact. If she did, he definitely would have known. How do I say this? A large part of Tian's memories are very hazy, and only a small portion of them are clear. Qian Mo said after a while. Hazy memories? What do you mean? Ling Chen was a bit surprised. It means, for some reason, perhaps heavy impact or stimulation, a large part of her memories have become incredibly hazy. They haven't been lost, it's just that when she tries to access those memories, they seem to be blocked by a layer of fog, and she can only hazily make them out. This means that she can't properly access all of her memories. As for the clear part, Those are probably the memories after the event that caused her memories to become hazy happened. That's why they're unaffected. My guess is that Tian's head suffered some sort of heavy impact or stimulation. Xiao explained. Is this related to why she lost consciousness? Ling Chen asked. Yes. Xiao heavily nodded. Tian lost consciousness because she encountered something that triggered some of her hazy memories, causing her brain to go into overdrive. Qianmo's answer was quite strange, making the Reapers feel confused. Ling Chen frowned as he asked, what was Tian doing before she lost consciousness? Did she say anything or see anything? Xiao and Xiao she thought for a moment before Xiao she replied. Tian was eating pea crisps, and was standing next to the window. And I were next to her. She asked us when you were coming back, then yelled out about a shooting star. We looked over, and saw it as it was disappearing. If it was something she saw, it would be that shooting star. After seeing that shooting star, she fell over backwards. But would a shooting star really be the reason? Ling Chen fell silent. Heavy impact, hazy memories, shooting star. Wait! Could it be? Ling Chen's eyes widened. Ever since Tian had started living with them, she hadn't hit her head anywhere. However, the first time they met Tian, she had appeared along with a meteor. They had seen a girl lying on the ground, but her clothes were completely intact, though her hair was in a mess. The meteor was in pieces around her. If Tian really came with that meteor, that spaceship from another world, then the impact upon hitting the ground would definitely be an incredibly heavy impact. The spaceship would have given her some protection, but the impact from the fall would be inevitable. When they had first met, she had claimed that she was a demon queen and wanted to conquer Earth. She also mentioned the Xiao star and her mother, and then there was essentially nothing after that. The great demon queen had not conquered the Earth. She hadn't even taken the first step. She had never mentioned the mother she needed to save. Instead, she enjoyed her daily life with Ling Chen and Shura, and didn't seem worried about her mother or the Xiao star, much less try to conquer the Earth. By now, she had all but forgotten about her being a demon queen. Ling Chen had always felt confused by that. Could that have been, like Qianmo said, because her memories were hazy? She remembered the name Demon Queen, but forgot what it entailed, and even forgot her powers. She remembered about conquering the Earth, but forgot how. She remembered her mother, but couldn't remember all of the emotions associated. She could remember that her mother was someone close to her, but her emotions toward Shura and Ling Chen seemed to run deeper. If that was the case, that would explain many of Ling Chen's questions. The clear memories would have been the memories from after that day. Shooting star. Could all of this have been triggered by Tian seeing that shooting star? Yaoing, Qianmo, if it's like that, can Tian's hazy memories be recovered? Ling Chen asked. Yaoing nodded. It's definitely possible. Her memories are only hazy. She hasn't lost them. Over time, she'll start to remember them. If there's stimulation from other sources, perhaps they'll come back even faster. However, it's possible that her brain could be damaged, so try to avoid that. Ling Chen mostly agreed with the conclusion Yaoing and Qianmo had come to. After thinking about it, Tian's behavior indeed indicated that her memories were hazy. In that case, if Tian's memories came back, and she remembered the things from the past, and remembered the reason for coming to this world, and remembered her relatives, would there be big changes to her heart? Would she still stay by his side? All in all, Tian's completely fine. Master doesn't need to worry about her. After coming to this conclusion, the anxious Yaoing and Qianmo let out a small sigh of relief. Yaoing looked at the medical instrument screen as she smiled and said, Tian's not only very healthy, but her mind is also, Ah! Yao Ying and Qian and Mo both cried out as their eyes widened, staring at the palm-sized screen. It was as if they had seen the most incomprehensible thing in the world. What happened? The two women's strange reaction caused everyone to become nervous. Ling Chen stood up with a whoosh, his heart once again anxious after just settling down. Buzz! Buzz! Bang! This sound caused everyone's hearts to jump. The medical instrument from the mad scientist had exploded. Only the screen had exploded, and luckily, the explosion had not been very intense. As such, the shards of glass had only flown tens of centimeters, most of which hit Yao Ying and Qian Mo's clothes, and did not land on Tian. Black smoke started to rise up from the destroyed medical instrument, filling the room with a burned smell. What? What's going on? The instrument broke? Guya asked in shock. Something that the mad scientist had made could break? Only Yao Ying and Qian Mo had seen the screen. They didn't brush away the glass shards, but instead continued to stare in deep shock. They looked at each other, trying to confirm what they had seen wasn't a hallucination. What's going on? What did you see? Ling Chen asked worriedly. Yao Ying and Qian Mo's reactions were simply too strange. 50 times brain capacity. Master! Qian Mo opened and closed her mouth a few times before saying in deep shock. Your brain capacity was increased by the mad scientist to more than 10 times a normal person's brain capacity, right? Yes, 15 times. With E's help, I can raise it to 20 times. However, 2/3 of our brain capacities were sealed through some unknown method by the mad scientist. Right now, it's only 5 times a normal person's brain capacity. Ling Chen replied. He didn't need to hide these sorts of things. Although his brain capacity was only 5 times that of a normal person's, he was still a monster whose mental energy and power surpassed humans' limits. But Tian, her. Yao Ying paused for a few moments before spluttering out. I casually used the instrument to check Tian's brain capacity, and that number skyrocketed. Tian's brain capacity is 50 times a normal person's. No! It's more than 50 times. Because this instrument could only measure up to 50 times, and it broke. Ling Chen. Impossible! Guya yelled in shock, then resolutely shook his head. There must have been something wrong with the instrument. A human whose brain capacity is 30% greater than a normal human's will awaken Esper powers, and those whose brain capacity is above 50% will be a top-tier Esper. Those with 2 times a normal person's brain capacity are absolute monsters. Instructor Hell found tens of thousands of geniuses all over the world, but less than 10 were able to withstand the stimulation to 5 times. Only Master and Eve were able to surpass 7 times. Although Master and Eve are limited to 5 times, you're still unparalleled existences, and with Instructor Hell dead, there's no one stronger than Master and Eve now. No matter what, Tian's just a normal girl. How can she have 50 times a normal person's brain capacity? The instrument must have been broken from the start. That's right. Even if it was made by the mad scientist, it should never break. Someone else said as they nodded. After all, it was not as if this was the first time they had met Tian. Tian was simply an incredibly fragile girl who didn't have anything that made her stand out differently. Moreover, these Reapers were incredibly familiar with the concept of brain capacity. The greater one's brain capacity, the stronger their mental energy would be, and the faster it could grow. If one's brain capacity was 30% greater than a normal person's brain capacity at birth, they were an innate Esper. If it was raised to 30% greater than a normal person's brain capacity afterwards, they would be an acquired Esper. If they could exceed 50%, they would be one of the top Espers out of the billions of people in China. Less than 100 people had a brain capacity greater than 50% of a normal human's. Those who had 100% times greater brain capacity could be counted on a single hand. Apart from Ling Chen, Eve, and the deceased instructor Hell, no one had reached 5 times a normal person's brain capacity. At the same time, this also showed how terrifying the mad scientist was. Back then, he had used medicine and terrifying procedures to create hundreds of specimens whose brain capacity was 1 time greater than a normal human's, tens of specimens whose brain capacity was 3 times greater than a normal human's, and nearly 10 who had reached 5 times a normal human's. If the mad scientist hadn't been so obsessed with perfection, and hadn't killed all of the specimens who he had deemed failures, the monsters he had created would have thrown the entire world into catastrophe. If he had decided to use those monsters to wreak havoc, the entire world would have been doomed. All of them felt incredible fear for the mad scientist, including Ling Chen. Moreover, Instructor Hell's resurrection made it clear that the mad scientist was still alive. Although no one brought it up, this fact remained like a sharp thorn in everyone's hearts. 50 times a normal person's brain capacity. That was a figure that made everyone stop breathing. It was a figure that even the mad scientist wouldn't believe. This figure could only perhaps appear on a god of the legends. Apart from a massive appetite, Tian didn't have any other unique points, not even strength, much less any Esper abilities. How could she have 50 times a normal person's brain capacity? The instrument must have been broken. That gave me a big fright. Yao Ying and Qian quickly recovered from their fright. Indeed, this was simply impossible, and the only explanation was that the medical instrument was broken from the beginning. After all, it had been more than 6 years since they had left Hell, so it wasn't surprising that it had broken down. However, Ling Chen did not feel relieved, and his expression remained just as heavy as he spoke. When I first met Tian, her head had indeed received some sort of heavy impact. If that impact was enough to cause her memories to become hazy, could her brain capacity have been affected as well? That's right. Yao Ying and Qian both nodded. Qian replied, the heavy impact caused her brain capacity to greatly suffer. You could say her brain was completely jumbled by that, causing her to go into a deep sleep to recover. Memories are stored in one's brain, and takes up an incredibly small portion of one's brain capacity. If one's brain capacity is affected, their memories will naturally be affected as well, because their brain capacity has become jumbled. As for the clear memories she has, those were stored in the brain capacity that was unaffected, which is why they're fine. Tian suddenly losing consciousness was probably because something triggered one of her hazy memories, which can be said to be a good thing. As such, Master doesn't need to worry at all. She'll probably wake up very soon. Also, the 50 times a normal person's brain capacity was definitely because there was something wrong with the machine. Please don't dwell on it, Master. I'm sure Master knows clearly what sort of girl Tian is. If she had such terrifying talent, how could Master not know? That's right. It seems that even things made by the mad scientist aren't perfect, haha. Gu said as he laughed. The medical instrument breaking indicated to everyone that the mad scientist wasn't completely flawless and invulnerable. They all knew that the shadow the mad scientist had left in their hearts would never go away. No one knew where he was, and even to these incredibly powerful experts, he was a truly terrifying demon. Ling Chen lapsed into silence. At this moment, he suddenly remembered something from a few months ago that had deeply shocked him. During the night when he had caused a bloodbath at the Long family's residence, he had been brought out by Gu Dao, then passed on to Mu Bingyao, and in desperation, she had given him to Tian. It was around 12 a.m. at that time. After that, Tian had carried him on her back, step by step, as she walked forwards. When he woke up and recovered, Tian had told him that she had walked an entire night, until the sky had brightened. When she could finally see the sun, she had fallen down a slope and fainted. That was where he had woken up. Back then, it was the intersection between summer and autumn, and in Beijing, the sun rose at around 7 a.m. That meant that Tian had carried him on her back and walked for nearly 7 hours. When he had woken up, 3 days had passed. He had always been curious. Tian's body was quite weak, and even if she had carried him on her back for 7 hours, she couldn't have walked too far. Moreover, with the Long family's power, how could they not catch up to a little girl who was carrying a big man? However, they had not been found, even after a whole 3 days. After he was able to move again, he confirmed where they were, and after hearing Tian talk about where Mu Bingyao had passed him to her, he became greatly shocked. This was because, even if they measured the distance in a straight line, they were 400 kilometers away. 400 kilometers in 7 hours. And that was assuming she traveled in a completely straight line. If they accounted for the winds and the road she followed, as well as the slopes she had to walk up and down, Tian definitely would have carried him for more than 500 kilometers. 500 kilometers in 7 hours meant. On that night, Tian had carried him while walking at more than 70 kilometers per hour. That was ridiculous. Moreover, according to Tian's recount, she had walked incredibly slowly, and she had been incredibly tired. Every single step required a lot of strength. In the end, she couldn't even see or hear clearly, and she couldn't feel her entire body. She simply didn't know how she kept walking. When she fainted, she didn't know where she was, much less how far she had walked or for how long she had walked. She had traveled more than 400 kilometers away from the Long family's residence in 7 hours. How were the Long family supposed to catch up? How could they believe that an almost dead Ling Chen was 400 kilometers away, and how could they find him at such a distance? He had repeatedly checked this, then buried it deep within his arm, and passed it off as a miracle that Tian had created for him. However, miracles didn't happen for no reason. There was always an explanation behind miracles. Tian had released her terrifying potential in order to save him, but even so, was 400 kilometers in 7 hours possible for a girl? At this moment, an idea suddenly surfaced in his mind. If Tian always had this sort of power, but had forgotten about it, and had subconsciously released it at that time. If that was the case. Master? Master? Are you all right? Seeing Ling Chen spaced out, not uttering a single word, Gu worriedly called out. Ling Chen's eyes flashed as he shook his head. I'm fine. I'm sure Qian Mo and Yao Ying's conclusions are correct. Since Tian's fine, don't worry, everyone, and go do your own things. Just let Tian have a good rest. Just as he spoke, Tian's nose suddenly twitched, and her hands moved as she opened her eyes. How could these slight movements escape the senses of the people in the room? Ling Chen hurriedly came over and said in deep concern, Tian, you're awake. Tian blinked and looked at Ling Chen for a few moments before fully waking up. Big brother, you're back, eh? I fell asleep? Why's everyone here? As she said this, she tried to get up, but was gently held down by Ling Chen. It's already pretty late, so if you're tired, just sleep. Everyone else is sleeping soon, too. Achoo! Tian sneezed, and didn't seem to realize what had happened to her. Is Big Brother going to sleep together with me? Ling Chen smiled. Of course, I can't sleep without Tian. Hee hee. Tian laughed. Then Big Brother should go and shower. Big brothers and big sisters, good night. The Reapers all left the room, feeling reassured. Only Ling Chen felt a new burden on his heart. During the night, he hugged Tian to sleep, and hugged her tighter than he had in the past. It was as if he was afraid that if he let go, Tian would disappear. Right now, Tian is mine, and is more important to me than anything. However, in the future, will Tian still be mine? Mine? Tian slept until noon the next day. After eating lunch, Ling Chen, Tian, Xiao and Xiao Shi returned to Su Hang. There were many things in Beijing that made them feel uncomfortable, which triggered many unpleasant memories, so they didn't want to stay there for long. When they reached Su Hang, it was the afternoon, and the sky had begun to darken. When you return this jet, make sure you thank Li Xiao for me. I owe her a big favor now, Ling Chen lazily said, as he leaned back in his comfortable seat in the jet. Got it. Xiao Shi, who was in charge of flying the jet, smiled. During this entire trip to Beijing, they had been in a good mood the whole time. Seeing Ling Chen achieve his goal, they were even happier. Now that you mention it, there's something we almost forgot to tell Master. When we asked to borrow this jet, Li Xiao asked us to tell Master that if you want to thank her, you should go to see her in person. There are some things she wants to talk to you about. Oh! Ling Chen sat up straight. He thought for a moment before saying, after the affair yesterday at the Su family's residence, Li Xiao can probably guess my identity. That's incorrect. Xiao shook her head. She guessed your identity from the very beginning. The events last night allowed her to confirm her suspicions. Ling Chen rubbed his forehead as he said in a low voice, the virtual gaming world's Lulan Queen, the woman who made the Li family financial group's fortune grow by 5 times within a short period of time, this woman is not simple. Xiao and Xiao Shi both laughed. Of course Li Xiao isn't a simple woman. This is something everyone in the South knows. Li Xiao is older than us, and her looks and figure are both flawless. She has a background that no one can compare to, but there are very few men who chase her. Does Master know why? What else could it be? This sort of woman is too hard to keep under control. It's probable that all the men who tried to chase her suffered a lot, Ling Chen said without hesitation. That's completely correct. Xiao and Xiao Shi replied in a synchronized manner. Then does Master want to go home directly or go to visit Xiao first? Xiao is very curious towards Master. We've known her for many years, but it's the first time we've seen her so curious about someone. Ling Chen looked at Tian, who was admiring the scenery outside. He thought for a few moments before replying, I don't like owing favors, so let's go see her. Any normal man wouldn't refuse an invitation from a beauty. All right, we'll immediately let Xiao know. At our current speed, we'll be there in 10 minutes. Li family's compound, northern courtyard. Although it was winter, the air in Su Hang made one feel carefree and relaxed. This was especially so for Li Xiao's northern courtyard. It was surrounded by greenery, and although it was called the northern courtyard, it was incredibly impressive. It had a private swimming pool, entertainment center, gym, medical center, parking lot, as well as a landing strip the size of a football field. However, this landing strip was not empty. There were 3 private jets of different sizes. The biggest one could fit up to 100 people, and they all belonged to Li Xiao. As for the private parking lot, it was filled with luxury cars and looked like an international luxury car exhibition. Li Xiao's money was something that she would never be able to finish spending. Buying a top-tier luxury car to her was the same as an ordinary person buying a cabbage. At this moment, Li Xiao was receiving 4 special guests. Oh, Auntie Gu, I can't quite understand what you're saying. Would you mind being more specific? A slight look of shock appeared in Li Xiao's eyes, but a calm smile remained on her face. Her loose clothes covered her alluring curves, and she had her legs crossed as she sat at the head chair. No matter if it was from the front or from the sides, one could see how curvy her body was. The smile on her face was extremely calm, but there was a hint of graveness between her brows. There were less than 5 people who could make her feel this way in the entire southern part of China. Sitting opposite her was a woman. It was difficult to tell how old she was. Some would say she looked 20, others 30, and still others 40. The perfect description for her would be graceful and elegant. Li Xiao knew her age. She was already middle-aged. However, she seemed to have won against time, that terrifying enemy. As the years passed, time was unable to ravage her looks. There was not a single wrinkle on her face, as if she was still a young girl. However, the noble and dignified aura she possessed was only something that could be gained over a long period of time. Facing Li Xiaoshui's words, the woman's expression did not waver at all. She calmly looked at Li Xiaoshui, looking as if it was impossible to move her. Even Li Xiaoshui felt that it would be impossible for her to be that calm and composed. "This isn't what we wanted, but Big Sister, she—" "Miss Li, please help us convince Big Sister this." Before the middle-aged woman could speak, the man sitting behind her hurriedly stood up and spoke out. As soon as he finished speaking, the middle-aged woman slightly shifted her body and calmly glanced at him. The middle-aged man's body stiffened as he hurriedly stopped speaking and sat back down, not daring to utter another word. A big sister having the power to make her little brother completely submit to her wasn't incredibly strange. However, the middle-aged man who had just stood up was Gu Qing Han. His father was an esper in the south, as well as the alliance master of the Esper family and the ancient martial family. He was the junior alliance master who was even more famous than his father, and the strongest esper in the south. At the same time, he controlled the most powerful faction in the south. Overall, it was even bigger than the North's underground faction, the Battle Alliance. After all, in the north, the Battle Alliance was severely restricted, while there was not much limiting the south. Ever since the Skyfall dynasty had developed and was able to contend with the Yin Huang Alliance, Gu Qing Han's fame resounded throughout the entire country. At the same time, he was third on the heaven rankings. Directly below the Yin Huang Alliance's Sword Emperor and the Dark Knight's Shinigami. Of course, after Ling Chen, that monster appeared, he had become number 4. This sort of important figure, who could cause half of China and the virtual world to shake by stamping his feet, had been scared stiff by a glance from a woman, and didn't dare to say an extra word. Moreover, he was sitting behind the woman. Evidently, this showed how much he respected her. He was sitting next to his 2 little brothers, Gu Tiandong and Gu Tianping. The 3 of them were the Skyfall dynasty's 3 heavenly kings. Skyfall, against the sky and judging sky. At the moment, these 3 influential figures were obediently sitting behind this middle-aged woman, with complicated looks on their faces, but not daring to say anything. "What I mean to say is already very clear. I'm sure Xiao Shui can completely understand." The middle-aged woman's voice was gentle as flowing water, but also contained a formless might. She didn't release it on purpose. Instead, it was something that came naturally from her actions and words. As the eldest daughter of the strongest Esper family in the south, as well as all of China, how could she not be an Esper herself? Like her little brother, Gu Tian, she was a mental Esper, but the pressure that she emitted was unrelated to her mental Esper powers. "The Skyfall dynasty wants to break off the alliance with my Li family? And you want to completely cut it off?" Li Xiaoshui sat upright. This showed how uncomfortable she felt. "Indeed." The middle-aged woman nodded. "Oh," Li Xiaoshui peacefully replied. This reaction couldn't be any calmer. She thought for a few moments before smiling and saying, "I believe that this decision was made by Auntie Gu. Can I take this to mean that Auntie Gu will enter the virtual world and might start to control the Skyfall dynasty's matters?" Although it was phrased as a question, this sounded more like a statement. That was because this explanation was the only possible explanation. "That's correct. However, from memory, Auntie Gu's never been interested in the virtual world." Moreover, if Auntie Gu steps into the virtual world, who will manage the Gu family, as well as half of the Skyfall Alliance? I believe that apart from Auntie Gu, it'll be difficult to find someone with the capability and charisma, Li Xiaoshui said as she smiled. This wasn't flattery, but how she felt from the bottom of her heart. In this world, there weren't many men who impressed her, but the only woman she truly respected was this elegant middle-aged woman in front of her. Gu Qing Han. When the Gu family's family leader had reached the end of his life and couldn't overcome his sickness, his body deteriorated day by day. The Skyfall Alliance wasn't completely united. Although the Gu family was the most powerful family in the Skyfall Alliance, there were many other powerful families that were eyeing the leadership position. Gu Tiannan's abilities were quite exceptional, but he was too young and didn't wield enough power to completely unite the Skyfall Alliance. When the Gu family's position in the Skyfall Alliance started to waver, the eldest daughter of the Gu family, who had remained silent for many years, suddenly appeared in a high-profile manner. Using terrifying plots and mighty acts, she completely suppressed all waves within the Skyfall Alliance, and firmly cemented the Gu family's position as the leader of the Skyfall Alliance. She single-handed earned the respect of the entire Esper family, an ancient martial family. At the same time, the underworld forces in the south were united at a shocking rate under her hands. With the loose sand gathered into a massive creature, it was more than 3 times larger than the Battle Alliance in the north. Everything was because of Gu Qing Han. The underworld powers completely belonged to the Gu family, and was so large that the Long family and other families in the Skyfall Alliance didn't dare to offend them. These years, the Gu family had remained at the center of the Skyfall Alliance, and no other family had dared to even provoke them. The Skyfall dynasty in the virtual world also rapidly grew, and became the only large guild that had the qualifications to fight against the Yin Huang Alliance. With a daughter like this, the Gu family's leader was able to spend his remaining years in peace and happiness. Gu Qing Han's decision. Although I wasn't interested in the past, that does not mean I'll always be disinterested. The developments in the Mystic Moon world have made it so that I can't help but put my focus on it. Moreover, the Skyfall dynasty's growth in the virtual world has disappointed me, so I must intervene, Gu Qing Han casually said as she looked at Li Xiaoshui. The 3 men behind her felt so ashamed that they lowered their heads. Oh! Disappointed, Auntie Gu? A look of interest appeared in Li Xiaoshui's eyes, and she made an expression of confusion. The Skyfall dynasty's power is something that every player in the world knows about, and is publicly acknowledged to be one of the top 3 guilds in China. Since the Mystic Moon world was opened, the Skyfall dynasty grew much faster than it did in previous virtual worlds. They've been acting in a low-profile manner, but developing in a high-profile manner. Their reputation is quite good, and their fame is approaching the Yin Huang Alliance's level. I can't quite understand why Auntie Gu would be disappointed. What you said is quite right. Gu Qing Han nodded. Ever since she had entered the Li family's residence, her expression had remained exactly the same. It was as cold as ice that had been frozen for 10,000 years. The number of times Li Xiaoshui had met her could not be called many, nor was it few. However, she had never seen Gu Qing Han smile before. It was said that when she was younger, she received large emotional and psychological damage, which left scars in her heart. Afterwards, her heart became frozen, and no one had ever seen her smile since. The Skyfall dynasty's current growth and future prospects are acceptable. However, that's not what I'm disappointed in, but rather your Li family. Li Xiaoshui, with how intelligent you are, you should be able to understand my words. Li Xiaoshui thought for a moment before slowly nodding and giving a slight smile. Is Auntie Gu referring to the partnership between the Skyfall dynasty and my Li family? Gu Qing Han slightly closed her eyes as she coldly replied, A partnership is only established where both parties benefit. In the beginning, I was not dissatisfied with the Skyfall dynasty working with your Li family. However, now that I've begun to pay more attention to the virtual world, I've realized that players in China, as well as players all over the world, don't see the Skyfall dynasty as solely belonging to my Gu family, but also belonging to your Li family. In fact, some believe that the Li family has greater control over the Skyfall dynasty. Almost everyone believes that without the Li family's support, the Skyfall dynasty would not have been able to grow to this extent or have the rights to contend with the Yin-Huang alliance. What's even more unacceptable is that still others believe that the Skyfall dynasty belongs to the Li family, and the Gu family is simply a manager for them. It is difficult for me to believe that you did not fuel these beliefs. Li Xiao smiled, but did not say anything. She knew that even if she denied it, it would be difficult to convince Ami Gun. Indeed, with your Li family's support, the Skyfall dynasty has grown at a shocking rate, which is why it is what it is now. One of the conditions was that our Skyfall dynasty would protect all property of the Li family in the virtual world. What players have seen is that the Skyfall dynasty has always been faithfully protecting all property of the Li family in the virtual world. Whenever the Li family calls, we must answer. My 3 little brothers have received massive financial support, and has shown a girl much younger than them incredible respect. If I wasn't an insider, and was just a normal player, I would believe that the Skyfall dynasty was actually owned by the Li family, or perhaps that the Skyfall dynasty was a subsidiary guild of the Li family. This has been the situation for many years. How could I not be disappointed? Gu Qing Han's final sentence was spoken incredibly coldly, and her 3 little brothers behind her began to sweat. Li Xiao smiled amicably. So it's like that. That's what Onigu was worried about. Indeed, with Onigu's firm and unyielding personality, you would be quite displeased about this. I admit, I had some part to play in this. However, since Onigu has decided to personally manage the Skyfall dynasty, I naturally wouldn't dare to act rashly in front of Onigu. I'm sure that with Onigu's wisdom, you'll be able to change people's perspective of the Skyfall dynasty very quickly. If Onigu wishes, we can change the mode of our partnership, but I would like Onigu to reconsider completely cutting off any cooperation. No matter if it's myself or the entire Li family, we do not wish to lose an ally like the Gu family. No need. Gu Qing Han shook her head. I've never been one to change my decisions. Cutting off ties with the Li family means cutting off more than half of our financial support, which will greatly impact the Skyfall dynasty. However, a Skyfall dynasty created using external funds will always just be a sleeping tiger, an empty shell. From today onwards, the Skyfall dynasty will only belong to the Gu family, and I will personally turn it into a sharp and indestructible sword. The contract between the Skyfall dynasty and the Li family is renewed every year. It has been 7 months since we last signed on it, and we will pay every cent of the penalty for early termination. Moreover, I heard that Xiao created the Snow Moon Luan and is called the Luan Queen. In its peak, the Snow Moon Luan had more than 100,000 players, but the name Snow Moon Luan has yet to appear in the Mystic Moon world. I'm sure that with Xiao's wisdom, you won't completely trust my Gu family. As such, I have reason to believe that Snow Moon Luan exists, but is simply hidden or has changed its name. Thus, even with my Gu family's protection, your Li family will still be able to protect its assets within the virtual world. Li Xiao did not nod, nor did she shake her head. She smiled as she replied, "All right, since Onigu insists." At this moment, Gu Tian couldn't sit still anymore. He leapt to his feet as he said in a loud voice, "Big sister, please think about this carefully. The current Skyfall dynasty has nearly 3 million players, and that's not including the subsidiary guilds. If we cut off the Li family's financial support, How can we sustain such a large guild? Moreover, the penalty for early termination is a massive figure, and will take the skin off our Gu family. Our Gu family has always excelled, but not in financial matters. Miss Li, please help me convince my big sister. Gu Qing Han glared at him as she said in a cold voice, "What's the use of having a big but unruly mob? The first thing I'm going to do is reduce the size of the Skyfall dynasty." Gu Tiannan's entire forehead was covered in sweat. But there are no buts. I've already decided on this. It's useless if you disagree. Gu Qing Han was completely frowning now. Evidently, she was enraged. The hidden anger in her voice caused Gu Tiannan to shrink back. He opened his mouth, but didn't dare to speak again, and he sat down with his head lowered. Gu Tiandong and Gu Tianping had the same reaction. How could they dare to voice their disagreement? Gu Qing Han had always been quite domineering, and the capability she had caused them to respect her from the bottom of their hearts. Li Xiao continued to calmly speak from where she had been cut off. Since Ani Gu is so resolute in this decision, then we'll go along with Ani Gu's wishes. After Ani Gu leaves here, all of the contracts between our Li family and your Gu family in the virtual world will be terminated. I'll completely destroy them at midnight tonight. Also, there's no need for the penalty for early termination. Ani Gu can just pretend it doesn't exist. Gu Qing Han looked at Li Xiao expressionlessly. I know that Xiao would never do anything that does not benefit her or the Li family. That penalty is quite a large sum of money. Give me a reason why you would let it go. Li Xiao slightly smiled with a sincere look in her eyes. I respect Ani Gu. Is that reason sufficient? Gu Qing Han looked at her deeply, and after falling silent for a few moments, she slowly stood up. She was tall and slim, and the plain clothes she wore were still able to give her an air of nobility. This reason makes it difficult for me to reject it. Since it's like that, we'll forget about the penalty for early termination. Xiao, Ani Gu won't take up more of your time. The next time we meet might be within the game. We'll see ourselves out. Gu Qing Han left without any dallying, and her three little brothers followed behind her, looking complicated, and could not meet Li Xiao's eyes. Li Xiao didn't see them out. She continued to look at Gu Qing Han from behind until she had disappeared from her vision. Within her eyes were some strange ripples. At this moment, a young woman wearing a plain shirt and an office skirt walked in with a look of confusion on her face as she asked, Miss, our partnership with the Gu family in the virtual world is incredibly important, and both sides need to rely on each other. According to the contract, the penalty for early termination can be as high as $9 billion. Why would Miss suggest for it to be cancelled? Is it really because you respect Gu Qing Han that much? Li Xiao continued to gaze in the direction Gu Qing Han had left in as she smiled. Ani Gu was completely correct. I, Li Xiao, never do anything that does not benefit me or the Li family. I have my own plans for this. Ani Gu's reasons for cutting off our partnership were not simply the reason she said. Miss, 10 minutes ago, Missing she sent a message notifying Miss that they would arrive in 10 minutes, as well as that they're bringing someone who Miss has wanted to meet. The young woman said, Oh. Li Xiao turned around as she asked, Where are they now? 0009 is now landing. Would Miss like to go and welcome them? The young woman said after looking at the screen on her wrist. They're already here. Li Xiao tapped her finger on her chin as she smiled beautifully. You can go and receive them. Tell Ing and she to take the little sister to the entertainment center, and that she can play whatever she wants. Bring that male guest here. Master Tian, we've arrived. As Xiao and Xiao she sweetly spoke, the jet slowed down and stopped moving. Ling Chen opened his eyes. They were now on the Li family's territory. Xiao and Xiao she opened the cabin door, and Tian, who had slept for half the trip, woke up. She was so excited that she almost jumped out. Ling Chen got up and walked out, and after seeing his surroundings, he was completely dismayed. No one would believe that this was a private airport. Their jet had landed at the edge of the private airport, which was right next to the private parking lot. After exiting the jet, they saw 7 people walk past. No matter who it was, anyone would cast their gaze on the woman in the middle first. She was like a moon among stars, and walked half a step in front of the other 6 people. It was difficult to tell her age, but the air she gave off made her seem like she was in her middle ages, and yet there were no traces of age on her face. Her footsteps were unhurried, and every step she took seemed to contain power, and could make people want to follow her. Graceful and dignified were the best ways to describe her. Her clothing was quite plain, but because she was wearing them, they seemed elegant and noble. Her eyes were fixed in front of her, as if she did not see Ling Chen and the others. Perhaps she had noticed them, but wasn't interested to even look at them. The woman came to a black car, and 2 of the people behind came up and opened the door for her. She ducked into the car, and soon 3 cars left the Li family's northern courtyard. Ling Chen watched as the car left, feeling stunned. "Interested in that woman from just then?" Xiao said in a small voice after looking at Ling Chen's reaction. "Who is she?" Ling Chen asked. "Gu Qing Han," Xiao replied. "It's her." Ling Chen was slightly surprised, but then felt a bit relieved. Of course, he had heard about Gu Qing Han before. After all, this name, especially in the south, was extremely stunning. She didn't hold any political power, but she had raised up the strongest family, strongest alliance, and strongest underworld power in the south. If she wanted to, she could control half of China. However, she was also extremely low profile, and almost never appeared in public places, nor did she interact with the media. Countless people had heard about her before, but very few had actually seen her. It was the first time Ling Chen had seen this legendary woman. That's right, it was the first time he had seen her. And yet, why did he feel like he had met her before? Ling Chen spaced out as he gazed in the direction she had left in. He was completely confident in his instincts. The feeling that he had met this woman before didn't disappear, but instead became stronger and stronger. Xiao and Xiao noticed Ling Chen's strange reaction, but they were not surprised. For an amazing woman like Gu Qing Han, even if one had never spoken to her before, she would be able to leave a deep impression on them. Xiao spoke. "Auntie Gu very rarely goes out. She probably came here to discuss something important with Xiao Shui. If Master is curious about her, you can ask Li Xiao Shui about her. Xiao Shui is one of the people who understands her the most." Ling Chen replied, as he felt even stranger inwardly. He did his best to forget that feeling and looked around him. He instantly noticed how tight the security was here. And yet, apart from the people right next to him, there was not a single person in sight. However, his senses told him that there were at least 30 eyes fixed on this place, and there were 10 or so guns pointed towards them. For an incredibly rich family like the Li family, to have their personal army was no strange matter. / You're back, Miss Xiao and Miss Xiao. A bright-eyed young woman in semi-formal attire lightly ran over and greeted them from afar. The joy in her voice was not fake. Evidently, she had a good relationship with Xiao and Xiao. Seeing her, Xiao and Xiao smiled and asked, "Guan Yu, is Xiao Shui at home?" "Yes," the woman nodded. "Miss has been waiting for you to come back. Let's go see her now, then. I'm sure she's already impatient from waiting," Xiao said in a mischievous tone. Li Xiao Shui had been curious about Ling Chen for a long time. About that, Miss asked Miss Xiao and Miss Xiao to take this cute little sister to play at the entertainment center, and for me to bring this gentleman to her. Is that all right?" The young woman felt a bit awkward. This was because whenever Xiao and Xiao she came back, Li Xiaoshui would always arrange to meet with her. It was the first time she had done something like this. Xiao and Xiao she looked at each other and laughed at the same time. They said to Ling Chen in a soft voice, "Looks like Xiaoshui wants to get to know you alone. We'll take Tian to play then. Remember to come find us after you're done." Xiao and Xiao she didn't want to go against Li Xiaoshui's wishes, so they took Tian to the entertainment center. Although it was a private entertainment center, it was on par with a mid-sized public entertainment center, and would be able to keep Tian occupied for quite a while. As such, Ling Chen followed this young woman, who seemed to be Li Xiaoshui's secretary, to where she was. Since Ling Chen had first seen Li Xiaoshui in the virtual world, he had been quite interested in her. This sort of interest a man had in a beautiful woman was one of appreciation as well as desire. This was even more so because of the richest family behind her, the Li family. Money couldn't allow one to do anything, but without money, one wouldn't be able to do anything. Ling Chen had a group of reapers who helped him with intel, espionage, etc., which all required money. As such, he was thinking of how to receive some financial benefits from the big miss of the Li family. With how rich the Li family was, even giving him scraps would be an astronomical figure. As such, he had investigated this Li Xiaoshui, but many of the things that had happened afterwards had caused him to become even more interested in her. What was unexpected was that when he had left Beijing and come to this heaven-like Suhang, he had become involved with her. He and Tian were living in Li Xiaoshui's bamboo sea wonderland, and she had gifted them a race car. Moreover, she had also helped them get to Beijing to attend Suer's birthday banquet. The big miss of the Li family never took a bad deal, and before Ling Chen had started to approach her, she had already started to approach him. With how much he owed her now, he had to go and meet her even if he didn't want to. Li Wanyu gently knocked on the door, then said, "Miss, the guest you've been waiting for is here. What about Xiaoxi and the others?" A lazy voice sounded out. "They took that little girl to the entertainment center." Although Li Xiaoshui couldn't see her through the door, Li Wanyu still spoke and acted extremely respectfully. "Ask him to come in and notify everyone that before I give the order, no one's to come within 100 meters of the room. No one. Including my father." "Eh?" Li Wanyu was evidently surprised. "But miss, your safety, with this esteemed guest, I can say that this is the safest I've been in my entire life. Do as I say." Li Wanyu looked at Ling Chen strangely, then opened the door for him. She then took a step back and bowed respectfully, saying, "Sir, please enter." Ling Chen walked in while wondering why Li Xiaoshui would want to meet him individually. After he entered, Li Wanyu closed the door, then quickly left. Very soon, everyone standing guard around this area quickly departed. Ling Tian's name is like a peal of thunder in everyone player's ears. This little sister has been a friend in spirit, and seeing you in person, I have finally achieved my wish. The little sister is Li Xiaoshui. Is big brother Ling Tian willing to tell me his name?" Her voice was extremely pleasant, and Ling Chen looked towards where her voice had come from. His eyes immediately lit up upon seeing the slim and beautiful woman sitting on the mahogany chair. She had a dignified and elegant smile on her face, and she got up and slowly walked towards him. She was wearing a black muslin dress that fell to her thighs, and when she walked, the dress fluttered, accentuating her slim waist and revealing her incredibly pristine skin and her full cleavage. Her exposed calves looked extremely tender and supple, which would make it difficult for anyone to look away. Of course, this wasn't what she had worn when she was receiving the Gu family's siblings. Evidently, she had quickly changed before receiving Ling Chen. She had changed into this elegant, yet sexy and seductive dress. Ling Chen's eyes were immediately fixed on her body, and was not even in the capacity to consider if it was appropriate. He laughed as he replied, How could I not have heard about the big miss of the Li family, the Luan Queen? However, what I'm surprised is that this Luan Queen is much more beautiful than the rumors say. Light eyebrows, upturned eyes, smooth and supple skin. No matter how one looked at her, they would feel blinded by her beauty. She looked completely different to the cold and arrogantly Xiao Shui that Ling Chen had seen at the auction. Back then, Li Xiao Shui had seemed like a proud and serious upper-class elite, while the current Li Xiao Shui in front of him seemed like an elegant and beautiful young woman. This was especially so because of her beautiful eyes, which Ling Chen couldn't look away from. Li Xiao Shui stopped walking when she arrived in front of Ling Chen and smiled. Big brother Ling Tian's even more handsome and charming than the rumors say. I'm sure that with so many halos around big brother Ling Tian, countless women would fall for you. No wonder why my good sisters, and Ying and she, who view the excellent young men in Su Hang as dirt, would be so devoted to you. Think about it later. Any man would enjoy being praised by a beautiful woman, and Ling Chen was no exception to this. Adding on her peerless background, as well as the sincerity in his eyes, Ling Chen felt giddy with joy. His eyes slightly narrowed as he said with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. In that case, with me standing here, has little sister Xiao Shui fallen for me? This little sister is also a normal girl. How could I resist big brother Ling Tian's charm? Li Xiao Shui gave a lovely smile. I heard that big brother Ling Tian has many lovers who are all outstanding beauties whose beauty can bring down a country. However, a dragon amongst men like big brother Ling Tian should have thousands of beauties. I'm quite jealous that my two good sisters, Ying and she, can receive big brother Ling Tian's affection. It's just that with this little sister's plain looks, big brother Ling Tian might not even be willing to look at me, let alone fall for me. These words almost sounded like they were from a play. Could this big Missly have invited him here just to make sport of him? Ling Chen's expression became one of amusement as he immediately replied, No, 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 no. Little sister Xiao Shui is stunningly beautiful and has an extraordinary temperament. Her background is immense and is also an extremely capable person. I'm sure there's no one under the heavens who can escape from little sister Xiao Shui's charm. Does this include big brother Ling Tian? Li Xiao Shui asked flirtatiously. Of course, Ling Chen said as he nodded. Li Xiao Shui gave a gentle smile as a crafty look flashed on her face. Since it's like that, would big brother Ling Tian like Xiao Shui to enter his harem? If big brother Ling Tian is willing, Xiao Shui will be your woman from now on, and you will be Xiao Shui's man. Xiao Shui is willing to give you her body right here, right now. Ling Chen. Email protected, #$%. Before entering, Ling Chen had imagined at least 30 different scenarios that could play out. However, this was something that he did not consider to even be a possibility. The Li Xiao Shui in front of him was not at all acting like a woman who stood at the peak of the financial world. Instead, she was like a lewd wife who had not been able to have sex with her husband for a long time, who was once again reunited with him. Of course, it was not as if Ling Chen did not want this. However, how could the high and mighty Luan Queen say such words? Was it a trap? Was this woman trying to throw him off? Apart from those reasons, there didn't seem to be any other possibility. However, weren't these tricks a bit too low? Ling Chen crossed his arms as the smile on his face became slightly colder. Little sister Xiao Shui, your time is worth millions of dollars every second. I can't afford to waste your time. As such, let's stop with the jokes now. I came here to thank you for the care and help you've given to us. If there's anything you need, let me know. As long as I can help, I will do my best to help you. When Ling Chen owed someone a favor, he would definitely return the favor. He didn't like the feeling of owing others. Hearing Ling Chen's words, Li Xiao Shui's eyes looked down, and her voice became lazier. Jokes? Big brother Ling Tian, do you really think I'm joking? Li Xiao gave a charming smile as she walked forwards, with her perky breasts almost touching Ling Chen's chest. Her eyes narrowed as she smiled as she softly asked, "Big brother Ling Tian, do you want to make love to me?" Ling Chen was no gentleman. In fact, sometimes he was a voracious beast. When Li Xiao walked closer to him, his instinct wasn't to take a step backwards, but to look at her breasts. Her breasts were two busted mounds, looking as if they would rip through her dress at any moment. His gaze lowered to her incredibly slim waist, then even lower. Before he could look any lower, Li Xiao's words completely stunned him. "What did you say?" Li Xiao giggled, making her look even more beautiful. She looked at him flirtatiously, as if she was a young girl in the springtime of her youth, then softly spoke. "In Suhang, the number of men who desire my body could line up from the West Lake to the East Crane Pagoda. This is the first time Xiao asked a man to make love to her. Big brother Ling Tian, do you really not want to make love to me?" The Li Xiao in front of him was incredibly beautiful, and had the fragrance of a young woman, which wafted into his nose, causing him to feel intoxicated. Even if a woman like this didn't have an extraordinary temperament, she would still be able to easily seduce a man. What's more, she was the successor to the richest family in China. If Ling Chen said that he wasn't interested in her body, he would definitely be lying. However, Li Xiao saying such words gave him a big fright. Ling Chen stared for a few seconds before the look in his eyes became dangerous. He lewdly looked at her as he asked, "You want me to make love to you?" "That's right." Li Xiao's eyes became two crescent moons, which shone brightly. She swept her hair back behind her ears as she spoke with her delicate and pink lips. "I'm a normal woman, and I want a man to have sex with me. Is that strange? Also, I can give big brother Ling Tian many reasons to make love to me." Ling Chen. Li Xiao's hands reached behind her neck and undid her hairband, allowing her long hair to fall down like a waterfall. She looked up and embarrassedly met Ling Chen's gaze, and looked so beautiful that it made it difficult for him to exercise self-control. Such a beautiful woman was inviting a man to make love to her. Who could resist? "Firstly, I control half of the Li family financial group, and am familiar with everything in the Li family financial group. My father only has me, his single daughter, so I am also the successor to the entire Li family financial group. If you make love to me, I'll be your woman, and the Li family financial group will also become yours, making you impossibly rich. Big brother Ling Tian, can you reject that?" Secondly, Ling Tian City, which is named after you, is about to complete construction, and I'm doing my best to develop it. With my Li family financial group's finances and my capabilities, I can build an empire for you in the virtual world, allowing you to have power equivalent that to an emperor. Ling Tian. Ling Tian City? You're saying that new city's called Ling Tian City? Not Meng Xian City or Heartstream City. Ling Chen felt quite shocked. He had not expected this at all. That's right. Li Xiao gave a gentle and clever smile. To Meng Xian, the only acceptable name was Ling Tian City, a city that belongs to you, Ling Tian. Ling Chen. Li Xiao continued. Thirdly, you already heard me order everyone away, and this room has very good soundproofing. No matter what you do to me, no one else will know. Even if you deny that you slept with me, no one would know either. There's nothing to worry about. Ling Chen. Fourthly, I, Li Xiao, am still a virgin. I've never been touched by a man before. Fifthly, big brother Ling Tian. Li Xiao's voice became incredibly soft, and she leaned forwards as her warm breath hit Ling Chen's ear. I, Li Xiao, am quite beautiful. As a normal man, how could you reject a beautiful woman offering herself up to you? Big brother Ling Tian, do you really not want to make love to the richest man's daughter? Don't you want to make love to the Luan queen? Seeing Li Xiao like this, and hearing her say such things, any man would burn with desire and leap on her to ravage her. Ling Chen wasn't abnormal. No, he was a very ordinary man in this regard. He desperately wanted to immediately turn into a beast, but his incredible mental strength allowed him to remember who this woman was. A woman would never do anything that was not beneficial to her. If she made a loss, that would be to gain 10 times over in future. As Ling Chen struggled with his internal conflict, Li Xiaoshui's face had already become red, and she leaned against his chest, with her full breasts sticking against him as she moved up and down. This woman, she wasn't wearing underwear. Ling Chen felt an explosion go off in his mind, and he cast all of his worries behind. He might as well eat this meat that had been delivered right to him. Everything else, he would think about it later. Think about it later. Ling Chen grabbed Li Xiaoshui's wrists and wrapped his right arm around her. With just a thin muslin dress in the way, he could feel the softness of her breasts pressed against him. No matter how seductively Xiaoshui had acted in the end, she was still a virgin who had never been with a man before. This caused her to feel shocked and embarrassed, but she quickly adjusted her emotional state and started to move her body against his. Ling Chen didn't use too much strength as he ripped apart Li Xiaoshui's black muslin dress, then pulled it off her. Her curvy body was revealed to Ling Chen, and she lay in his embrace, her perky breasts proudly standing in front of him. Their shape was wonderful, and her skin was smooth and supple. They were definitely exquisite, top-class goods. "Since you want it so much, I'll satisfy you," Ling Chen said as he wrapped his arms around her. Li Xiaoshui's face flushed red, but the wanton and unrestrained look remained in her eyes. She hooked her arms around Ling Chen's neck as she said, "If you're a man, then pound me so hard that I won't be able to get out of bed for 3 days. Don't hold back." With the passion inside him completely ignited, Ling Chen already lifted her up and came to the bedroom. He placed her onto the soft bed, then ripped off his clothes as he leapt on her like a ravenous wolf. At night, the Li family's grounds were completely lit up. Tian happily played her heart out at the entertainment center, and had no thoughts about leaving. As for Xiao and Xiaoxi, they stayed by her side the entire time. There was no sound from Li Xiaoshui's residence, and all of the hidden guards were 100 meters away, silently waiting for her orders. No one knew about the intense battle happening inside. Inside the room was a world with only 2 people. It was filled with intense shaking, trembling, flying fluids, and strong smells. Li Xiaoshui's slim fingers tightly gripped the pillow. The bedsheets had long since been torn into shreds. Ling Chen pressed himself down on her, grabbing her waist as he pounded this beauty. Although the soundproofing was quite good, and the guards nearby had all retreated, Li Xiaoshui didn't dare to moan. She gritted her teeth the entire time, but small moans still leaked out of her lips as her body twisted like a small boat amidst a storm. Her large breasts swayed as Ling Chen furiously slammed into her, and her slim, long legs were wrapped tightly around Ling Chen's waist. This was indeed her first time, but her seduction made Ling Chen almost break her. At first, they were on the bed, but then they ended up on the carpet, then pressed up against the door, then on her work desk, then in front of her makeup mirror, then on the sofa. Ling Chen had tried every position on her in every part of the room. Li Xiaoshui couldn't remember how many times she had climaxed, but could feel that her consciousness was about to leave her body. After Ling Chen was fully satisfied, Li Xiaoshui lay on the carpet. Her entire body was a rosy pink color, and couldn't even move a finger. After the storm had ended, she moaned, and closed her eyes, and fell asleep. Ling Chen, who felt as if he had just enjoyed a delicious meal, brought over a blanket, and covered Li Xiaoshui up with it. He then dressed himself and left, making sure to lock the door as he did so. He then called Tian, Xiao and Xiaoxi, and left. Ling Chen's feelings could only be described with one word. Refreshed. Incredibly refreshed. It's fate they returned to the Bamboo Sea Wonderland in a luxurious 7-seat car provided by Li Xiaoshui. Xiao and Xiao Shi were allowed to borrow any of Li Xiaoshui's cars without even asking her. Tian, who was tired from playing, lay on Ling Chen's lap and slept, and Ling Chen felt incredibly refreshed. When they were nearly back, he asked, Shi, don't you want to know what I talked to Li Xiaoshui about? Of course we do, Xiao Shi said as she giggled. You talked for nearly 2 hours. I'm sure you talked lots and did lots. Seeing how happy Master looks, you must have had a very pleasurable chat. Indeed, it was very pleasurable, Ling Chen said as he leaned back. What did you talk about that was so pleasurable? Since Ling Chen had brought it up, Xiao and Xiao Shi couldn't resist asking. Ling Chen smiled incredibly contently. In actuality, I didn't say much with the big Miss Li. We were mainly so we were at it for 2 hours. I'm not sure if that self-confident big Miss Li will be able to get out of the bed for the next few days. Screech. The car suddenly skidded and almost crashed into the bamboo trees. Thinking back, when he had first entered the room, Li Xiaoshui had immediately started to seduce him without hesitation. In those circumstances, if Ling Chen didn't leap on her, he wouldn't be able to live it down as a man. Now that his mind was a bit clearer, he started to wonder what Li Xiaoshui's true aim was. This was the first time he had officially met Li Xiaoshui, but they had both heard much about each other and investigated each other. A woman's first time was something important to them, and yet the daughter of the richest man in China had asked him to make love to her after just exchanging a few words. What did he have that Li Xiaoshui wanted? The influence he had as Ling Tian in the virtual world? The new city? The new city relied on the finances provided by Li Xiaoshui, and in exchange for her money, a large part of the city was to be owned by Li Xiaoshui. If it was for the new city, she wouldn't have to do such a thing. As for Ling Tian's influence and fame, they didn't seem very useful either. As for his real-life identity, he was an enemy of the Long family and Xianyuan family, and was also a national fugitive. If word got out that the Li family was involved with him, that would bring them immense trouble. After thinking about it, Ling Chen simply couldn't understand why Li Xiaoshui had done such a thing. In the end, he put his hand on his face. Could it be that she really fell for my handsome looks and elegant demeanor, resulting in her desperately asking me to make love to her? That seemed to be the only reason. Thinking to there, Ling Chen lowered his face. It seemed that in future, he couldn't go around with this face that could bring disaster to a country in the open. Li family's compound, northern courtyard. After receiving Li Xiaoshui's phone call, Li Wanyu hurried back. Upon opening the door, she stood in dismay, and even wondered if she had walked into the wrong place. The originally clean and tidy room was now in total disorder. The sofa and chairs were lying on their sides, and various precious bonsais had fallen to the ground. The carpet looked as if it had been completely uplifted, and the heavy work desk and bookshelf had both moved. There was also a hormonal odor in the air. Although Li Wanyu was a prim and proper person, she knew what this smell was. Li Xiaoshui was leaning against her mahogany chair behind the work desk. The current Li Xiaoshui didn't have any of the cool and aloof look she normally had. Her hair fell messily about her shoulders, and her black dress was torn and tattered, and barely covered her body, revealing much of her skin. Her body was also a flushed, rosy color, making her look bewitchingly beautiful. Li Xiaoshui's body was leaning back, accentuating her shapely body. Her face was still quite red, and there was a pleased look in her eyes. Her skin still glistened with some sweat, which made her look even more charming. Miss! Li Wanyu was completely dumbfounded, and only spoke after coming back to her senses after a while. Li Xiaoshui lazily opened her eyes. The feeling of weakness spread throughout her entire body, making her feel like just opening her eyes took all of her strength. She stretched out a finger and brushed aside her messy hair as she weakly said, "Wan Yu, close the door and come over here." Wan Yu nodded, then looked at the messy room and the completely different Li Xiaoshui, and hurriedly closed the door and walked over. "Miss, what happened?" "Phew." Li Xiaoshui exhaled a few times before replying. "That man really doesn't know how to treat women tenderly." Li Wanyu stared in shock for a moment, before her face became incredibly pale. She stiffly stood there, unable to utter a word. However, I liked the feeling of being brutally violated. Perhaps he'll help me understand more the pleasures of being a woman. Li Xiaoshui's face became red, as if she was savoring the memory. She narrowed her eyes until they were nearly closed and raised her hand. Within her palm was a white liquid. "Take this to that place and ask them to give me results as soon as possible. Tell them that the results are very important to me." Li Xiaoshui's voice was incredibly lazy and strengthless, and yet contained an imposing might. Even if Li Wanyu was an idiot, she would be able to tell what the white liquid in Li Xiaoshui's palm was. She opened and closed her mouth many times, and her hands trembled as she mustered the courage to scoop up those drops of white liquid. The wet and sticky sensation caused her heart to beat rapidly, as if it was going to escape from her chest. 2 hours later, an A4-sized, detailed report was brought over by Li Wanyu and handed over to Li Xiaoshui. She looked over every word carefully. A few moments later, she put the report down and a slight smile appeared on her face. A woman's instinct is simply terrifying. The Gu family has broken off the partnership with us most likely because they're going to do something big against the Yin Huang Alliance. Everyone knows this massive guild's name, but no one knows the true meaning. It doesn't refer to the sky falling, but a dynasty falling. In China, the dynasty refers to the Long family, while Skyfall Dynasty's true meaning is the fall of the Long family. The only person who would dare to do this is Gu Qing Han, who completely hates the Long family. After returning home, night had already fallen. Tian was so tired that she went to sleep without even eating dinner. She had not slept too well in Beijing. Only her own bed was the most comfortable place in the world. Ling Chen once again thought about the incident with Li Xiaoshui, then cast it out of his mind. He had eaten a delicious meal for free, and since he had already eaten it, what was he worrying about? If Li Xiaoshui asked a ridiculous favor out of him, he could just deny such a thing ever happened. What would she be able to do about it? Ling Chen immediately felt much more relaxed. He lay on the bed and hugged Tian as he entered the virtual world. "Ding, welcome to the Mystic Moon. We hope you enjoy your stay." To Ling Chen, he was not entering for the game anymore, but for that beautiful, yet illusory dream. The location of the next orb, the White Tiger's heart. Just these 3 words gave Ling Chen an extremely clear destination. If he wanted to find the orb, all he needed to do was head towards the White Tiger City in the Forgotten Continent's west and find the guardian beast, the White Tiger. "That's all I can do for now." Although obtaining the White Tiger's heart seemed almost impossible, Ling Chen didn't have any other alternatives. Over the course of finding all of the Lunar Scourge's orbs, obtaining each one had been in impossible circumstances. The town closest to the White Tiger City was the town next to the Fairyland Mountain Range. After stocking up on potions, he used a spatial orb to teleport then summoned Snow Cherry and started to fly towards the White Tiger City. Currently, when he was riding on Snow Cherry, his movement speed was 344. Even without Broken Shadow, it was as if he was riding on a bolt of lightning. It wouldn't take too long to reach the west. Not too long after leaving the town, before he even reached the Fairyland Mountain Range, Ling Chen casually looked down and saw a person walking. This place was quite close to the Fairyland Mountain Range, and powerful monsters could appear at any time. As such, because this region was so dangerous, there was not a soul in sight, so the figure was quite easy to spot. Seeing this person, Ling Chen felt quite shocked and stopped Snow Cherry. The person had a monkey-like face, was thin as firewood, and was holding a small wooden stick in his hands. Seeing him walk with great flair, Ling Chen immediately recognized him. The underworld merchant Tian Gun. Ling Chen stared in shock. Qiyu said that most people didn't encounter him even once in their lives, and yet he had repeatedly bumped into him. This was incredibly luck. Ling Chen didn't hesitate as he pointed below him. "Snow Cherry, let's go down." Whoosh! Snow Cherry's body drew a beautiful white arc in the air and landed right in front of Tian Gun, giving him a big fright. "Ah, what a coincidence! We meet yet again." Ling Chen jumped down from Snow Cherry and grinned at Tian Gun. After going to the East Ocean continent, he now had an extra 10 billion gold or so, and was fully confident he could buy anything he wanted from Tian Gun. Tian Gun was scared into jumping back a step, and he immediately recognized Ling Chen. He started to scream, "It's you, boy! Weird. Why am I always running into you? The number of people who have met me 3 times within 1,000 years can be counted on a single hand. It's fate," Ling Chen replied as he smiled widely. The rampaging white tiger. Fate? Tian Gun's mouth twitched, and his nose moved as he suddenly jumped up as if he had been pricked in the bottom by a needle. "How could there be such a strong smell of money on you? My goodness, it's been hundreds of years since I've smelled so much money on a living person. You're so young, and yet you have so much money." Just by sniffing, Tian Gun could roughly tell how much money a person had. This was something Ling Chen had experienced before. His smile grew wider. That's right. In that case, are you interested in selling to me again?" The first time he had met Tian Gun, he only had a few 10,000 gold coins, and missed out on a heap of treasures. The same thing happened during their second meeting. This time, he had more than 10 billion gold, and was determined to buy everything Tian Gun had. Tian Gun's eyes shone, and looked at Ling Chen as if he was his own father. However, he patted his bag, and shook his head while looking depressed. "God freaking damn it, I finally bumped into a super rich person, but I've got nothing. I've already been out from the underworld for quite a few months, and I've already sold everything. How about I sell you information? You can ask me anything you want. There are very few things that I, Tian Gun, don't know about." "Sold everything." Ling Chen's face twitched. Could he be any more unlucky? When he had no money, Tian Gun had a heap of items. Now that he had money, Tian Gun had nothing to sell. "Good admit." Tian Gun stared at him, while saliva flowed out of his mouth. Facing this sort of wealthy person, who only appeared every few hundred years, he was quite reluctant to leave. Since he didn't have anything, Ling Chen could only ask in frustration, "When will you have new items then?" "Well, I'm actually on the way back to the underworld. When I'm back from the underworld, I'll have more items." Tian Gun had a disgusting smile on his face. "Oh, all right then." Ling Chen shook his head, then came a bit closer as he chuckled. "It doesn't matter though, since we're bound together by fate. When you come back from the underworld, we'll immediately meet again. Isn't that right?" As he spoke, Ling Chen cast a true lucky hand towards Tian Gun. "Ding! Your true lucky hand has succeeded. You have received the special item Moon God Palace map from Tian Gun and were not detected." Ling Chen. It was that map from last time. The map that Qiyu said he had to obtain no matter what. Tian Gun, who had no idea what just happened, eagerly nodded. "I, Tian Gun, only do business with people who are brought to me by fate. If we don't have fate, no matter how much money a person has, I won't be willing to sell him anything. If you don't want to buy any information, let's meet again in future." "Oh, wait. Ling Chen stopped him. "I'm going to the White Tiger City, so I wanted to hear about." "What? You're going to the White Tiger City?" Gun's reaction was quite abnormal. He turned around with a whoosh and said in a serious tone, "Since we're tied together by fate, and you have so much money, I'll give you some information for free. Don't go to the White Tiger City, no matter what. I just came from over there and nearly died." "Eh?" Ling Chen's eyes widened as he hurriedly asked, "Could something big have happened at the White Tiger City?" The White Tiger City was one of the 4 main cities of the humans. What could have happened for a 1,000-year-old devil like Gun to nearly die? "You want to know?" Gun stretched out his withered hand. "If you want information, bring out the money. All my information is completely reliable." "How much?" 500,000. "Holy crap! A piece of information for 500,000 gold? Are you crazy, or do you think I'm crazy? You're free to buy if you want. It's completely up to you." Gun smirked and started to walk off. "You sure are something." Ling Chen gritted his teeth and took out 500,000 gold. Back at the Lonely Spirit Ridge, a piece of information had only costed him 10,000 gold. Evidently, seeing that Ling Chen had much more money now, this guy dared to charge a higher price. After receiving the 500,000 gold, Gun's old face beamed like a flower. "That's right. A big incident happened at the White Tiger City. The guardian beast, the White Tiger, has gone on a rampage." "The White Tiger went on a rampage? How did this happen?" Ling Chen asked in shock. "Because the answer's fairly long. 800,000 gold." "Holy fudge!" Ling Chen handed over 800,000 gold. Ling Chen had to obtain as much information as he could about the White Tiger. Gun's expression became even more cordial as he spoke. "The reason's a bit complicated. You know about the 10 ancient demon beasts, right? Yesterday, one of the 10 ancient demon beasts, the Ice Demon Beast, suddenly appeared west of the White Tiger City. The guardian beast, the White Tiger, immediately sensed its demonic aura. As a guardian beast, what it hated most was this sort of demonic aura. Back then, the 10 ancient demon beasts agreed that they would obediently stay within their own territories and would never enter human territory. As such, they were left alone for all that time. However, the Ice Demon Beast went crazy and entered into human territory. Not only that, it brought out an even stronger demon beast, the Tyrant Demon Beast. Both of them flew towards the White Tiger City. As such, the White Tiger became enraged and locked them inside the Thunder God barrier that it created, not allowing them to get any closer to the White Tiger City. It also started to launch destructive attacks. The Tyrant Demon Beast is the 3rd strongest overall out of the 10 ancient demon beasts, and is weaker than only the Sky Demon Beast and Earth Demon Beast. However, the White Tiger's the strongest out of the 4 guardian beasts, so even with the Tyrant Demon Beast and Ice Demon Beast working together, they were unable to defeat it. If the Tyrant Demon Beast and Ice Demon Beast obediently retreated, that would have been the end of the matter. However, they were desperate to break out of the Thunder God barrier and started to fight with the White Tiger. Ling Chen's eyes widened. Listening to there, he understood what had happened. That day, after the Ice Demon Beast had escaped, she had flown towards the west to find the hidden Tyrant Demon Beast. After finding the Tyrant Demon Beast, she told it about the Lunar Scourge, and they set out to alert the other demon beasts. However, they were unable to leave the west before being discovered by the White Tiger. "Are you saying that the White Tiger went on a rampage because it fought with the Tyrant Demon Beast and Ice Demon Beast?" Ling Chen asked. Of course not. There are two methods to breaking out of the Thunder God barrier. The first is for the white tiger to voluntarily unlock it, and the other is to kill the white tiger. As the strongest guardian beast, how could the white tiger be easily defeated? Seeing that neither of these two possibilities were available, the terrifying tyrant demon beast created a third way. What was it? Soul stealing. The tyrant demon beast doesn't have a physical form. It always relies on possessing other beings. Possessing a body and soul stealing is its most terrifying ability. It possessed the white tiger and used its demonic power to devour its soul and stole its body to use. After succeeding, the white tiger's body and power belonged to the tyrant demon beast. Xiao Gun said in a serious manner. Could it be that the tyrant demon beast really succeeded? Ling Chen asked as he frowned. Not yet. How could the white tiger's soul be devoured so easily? If it was just the tyrant demon beast, it would have no chance of succeeding and might even suffer backlash. However, it also had the ice demon beast with it. Under a barrage of powerful attacks, it was difficult for even the white tiger to hold on. When I left, the white tiger had already lost control, although it's still resisting. At least half of its body has been controlled by the tyrant demon beast. If the situation continues like that, it'll be a matter of time before it is fully taken over. Perhaps the tyrant demon beast has already succeeded. That would mean the white tiger's soul has been completely devoured, and that it is completely dead. In that case, the Thunder God barrier would disappear. The white tiger being taken over meant that it lost control over its lightning, resulting in many towns and small cities being destroyed. Even the white tiger city was nearly hit. Right now, the white tiger city has descended into chaos. However, they only saw the white tiger rampaging, but didn't know the reason. Only I, Tian, know the true reason, and you're the second person to know. Boy, if you want to go to the white tiger city, you should pick a different time. It's too dangerous right now. Gun said as he grinned. The white tiger was being possessed. Such a shocking thing was happening. The demon beasts were so desperate to leave that they would fight the white tiger. It seemed that they were quite eager to obtain the lunar scourge. Ling Chen didn't hesitate as he jumped onto Snow Cherry's back, yelling, I must go. I need to find the white tiger. So it's like that. Gun's eyes lit up. I just so happen to have a teleport scroll for the white tiger city. How much? Ling Chen immediately stopped as he roared out. 3,000,000 gold. Take it or leave it. Go screw yourself. I'll take it. After throwing out 3 million gold to buy a teleport scroll that Gun had bought for a few silver coins, Ling Chen immediately crushed it and disappeared. 3 million gold for a teleport scroll. Who would have thought I would meet such a fat sheep? Gun laughed. With Ling Chen's speed, even if he traveled day and night, it would take him many days to reach the White Tiger City. With the teleport scroll, he could instantly arrive. However, the teleport scroll didn't teleport him within the White Tiger City, but right in front of the main entrance. Because Ling Chen did not yet have the right to enter the White Tiger City. The air in the west was extremely dry, and the wind felt quite uncomfortable on one's skin. The poor climate here meant that the White Tiger City was far less developed than the Azure Dragon City. As soon as he arrived, Ling Chen felt the ground under his feet shaking, as well as low roaring sounds. He looked up at the sky, and saw that in the west, there was purple lightning wildly crackling. The lightning came from the White Tiger. The city guards standing guard at the main entrance all looked pale as a sheet, and the hands gripping their weapons trembled. They stared at the sky to the west, as if they were looking at the apocalypse. After a while, one of the city guards noticed Ling Chen, and quickly said after giving him a good look, "Hello, you must be an adventurer from another world. According to the rules, unless you have special permissions, you're not allowed to enter the White Tiger City before you reach LV-70. Moreover, the White Tiger City is currently facing a catastrophe, so it's best if you left quickly. The current situation indicated that the battle was still ongoing and that the White Tiger's soul had not yet been completely devoured. Ling Chen immediately activated Broken Shadow as he shot towards the west on top of Snow Cherry like a wild gust of wind. Seeing Ling Chen's incredible speed, the city guards were completely dumbfounded, and they looked as if they had seen a ghost. Thunder God Barrier. Qiyu, is this an incredibly rare opportunity? Indeed, this is a good opportunity, but it could also be a disaster. With Little Master's current strength, entering into a battle between the White Tiger and two demon beasts is equivalent to committing suicide. Even if you don't die, you won't be able to turn the battle around. The battle between the White Tiger and the demon beasts isn't important to me. I just need to kill the White Tiger. They've already fought for a day and a night, so they all must be greatly weakened. Moreover, the White Tiger has lost control. Originally, my chances of killing the White Tiger were 0, but now it's definitely a possibility. It seems that Little Master really has a chance at killing the White Tiger. However, Little Master should know that the chances of Little Master dying are thousands of times higher. Although the White Tiger has become weak and has lost control, it is still the White Tiger. Moreover, the White Tiger is a guardian beast and is deeply worshipped and venerated. If you kill the White Tiger, all of the residents of the White Tiger City will hate you. Has Little Master realized this? As long as I can save Ruruo, I wouldn't hesitate to kill even the Emperor of Heaven. Ling Chen sped on forwards. An hour or so later, he reached the west of the White Tiger City, where the sky was a terrifying deep purple color. The lightning cloud seemed mere meters away, and it seemed as if the lightning would destroy everything. The ground shook violently, and bestial roars rumbled in his ears, sounding as if there were hundreds of beasts simultaneously roaring. There were more than 100 people wearing purple magic robes, which signified that they were lightning mages. They stood guard here to prevent the lightning from spreading, so as to protect the White Tiger City. Seeing Ling Chen come near, they yelled out to him, "Young man, don't come over here. Lord White Tiger has gone crazy, and the nearby towns have all been destroyed. The range of the devastation is too large, and it's too dangerous here. Please leave immediately." In front of them was the White Tiger's Thunder God Barrier. The ground had been completely devastated by the berserk lightning, and there was not a single living creature within there. Evidently, stepping into the Thunder God Barrier would be equivalent to committing suicide. Even these lightning mages who possess great resistance to lightning couldn't deal with it lightly. Ling Chen ignored their words and obstruction, and ordered Snow Cherry to fly above them. He entered into the dangerous region covered by the White Tiger's power, and continued to rush forwards. Crack! Boom! Streaks of lightning, both big and small, rained down from above. Ling Chen didn't slow down, and continuously dodged from side to side as he avoided all of the lightning. However, the further forward he traveled, the denser the lightning became, and the louder the thunder became. Ling Chen could hear boundless fury and struggling within the White Tiger's roars. It had been continuously roaring, as if it was telling the residents of the White Tiger City to escape. Ling Chen was still quite far away from where the White Tiger was, and couldn't see it with his eyes. However, he could roughly estimate where it was from its roars. Ling Chen summoned Xiao Hui. "Xiao Hui, go and track down where the White Tiger is." Xiao Hui landed on the ground, and after looking around for half a second, he quickly ran forwards. He had 300 movement speed, and wasn't much slower than Ling Chen on his mount. Adding on the fact that he was quite small, he was extremely nimble, and easily dodged the lightning. 10 minutes later. "Watch out! The Thunder God's barrier is right ahead, Qiyu shouted out as Ling Chen approached a faint purple screen. Xiao Hui stopped right before he touched it, and stared at it, as if he was deciding whether it was safe or not. What will happen if we enter the Thunder God's barrier? Ling Chen asked. The Thunder God barrier is tied to the White Tiger's power and life force. Once activated, unless it is deactivated or the White Tiger is killed, it will not disappear. It is possible to enter this barrier, but once you enter, you will not be able to leave. Moreover, once you enter, you'll be attacked by the dense lightning and will fall into a lightning purgatory. The White Tiger can only use this 3 times in its lifetime. If it wasn't facing 2 powerful demon beasts, it wouldn't have decided to use it, Qiyu explained. Little Master should not enter this barrier under any circumstances. You should just wait here for the conclusion of the battle. No matter who wins or loses, both sides will have suffered grave injuries, which will be the best opportunity for Little Master. After Qiyu finished speaking, Xiao Hui suddenly gave a low growl and quickly rushed into the Thunder God barrier. Xiao Hui! Ling Chen was stunned and called out in shock. As Xiao Hui entered the Thunder God barrier, purple lightning crackled above him and tens of bolts of lightning, both thick and thin, streaked towards him. Although Xiao Hui had the Holy Spirit's shield protecting him, he definitely wouldn't be able to defend against these bolts of lightning that came from the White Tiger's power. If he was hit, he would definitely be insta-killed. However, an incomprehensible scene eventuated just as the lightning bolts were about to touch Xiao Hui. They suddenly stopped around him and didn't continue falling. In the next moment, they all disappeared. Xiao Hui was perfectly safe. What's going on? Ling Chen stared dumbfounded. Xiao Hui, who was within the barrier, had turned around and was motioning towards him with his paws, gesturing for him to come in. I have no idea. Qi was also at a loss. From the beginning until now, Xiao Hui had created many miracles. Qiyu had explained the Thunder God barrier in depth, and Xiao Hui was now asking him to come in. For some reason, the lightning didn't seem to attack Xiao Hui, but this didn't mean it wouldn't attack Ling Chen. Ling Chen thought for a few moments before stepping into the Thunder God barrier. Xiao Hui's detection abilities were peerless, and if he believed this area was safe for Ling Chen, then it definitely would be. Xiao Hui never did anything that would bring harm to Ling Chen. As Ling Chen stepped into the Thunder God barrier, he heard a gigantic peal of thunder. Above him, 10 or so bolts of lightning descended towards them, each one of them as thick as a human arm. Ling Chen subconsciously wanted to evade them, but found that when they were 2 to 3 meters away from him, they would suddenly change direction and go around Ling Chen without hitting him at all. What was going on? Ling Chen couldn't understand it at all. He had been struck by lightning attacks before, and Xiao Hui was present during those times. And yet, he hadn't been protected from the lightning during those times. Ling Chen took a few steps forward, and although the Thunder God barrier was filled with lightning, they would avoid the area where Xiao Hui stood. This lightning is unwilling to hurt Xiao Hui, and even seems to fear him, Qiyu said. Suddenly, she seemed to think of the reason as she muttered. Could it be? We'll think about this later. Xiao Hui, lead us to the White Tiger's location. Ling Chen once again jumped onto Snow Cherry's back, and quickly advanced while following Xiao Hui. Wherever they went, the lightning would let them through, and even after a long time, they were not hit by a single bolt of lightning. After walking for a while, even the ground had turned purple. The thundering and roaring filled Ling Chen's ears. As the White Tiger lost control of its body, it lost control of its power, causing this region to become a lightning purgatory. At this moment, an incredible piercing voice entered his ears. Hee. White Tiger, stop struggling. The more you struggle, the more you'll suffer. Even if you're the White Tiger, it's not easy to bear the pain of your soul being devoured. This was a woman's voice, and was quite soft, but Ling Chen could hear it perfectly well. Moreover, this voice was quite familiar to him. It came from the ice demon beast. At this moment, Ling Chen could see a gigantic white figure through the curtains of lightning. It was the white tiger. It was already 30 meters tall, and its entire body was white and had violet eyes. Its body was surrounded by lightning, and 4 bolts of lightning formed a domineering king character on its forehead. Tian, king equals, which has 4 strokes. The white tiger was less than 100 meters away from Ling Chen, and its roars made Ling Chen feel as if his eardrums were going to burst. It looked like it was in extreme pain, and its gigantic head shook about. As it struggled, incredibly powerful bolts of lightning were released from its body, slamming into the region around it above it. Multitudes of ice attacks constantly rained down on its body, with the ice attacks from the ice demon beast suppressing it, as well as the tyrant demon beast devouring its soul. Only the white tiger would be able to last so long. The white tiger continuously endured the attacks from the ice demon beast. However, it was evident that its body did not completely belong to it anymore, and it was unable to launch any attacks back at the ice demon beast. Although the Thunder God Barrier's lightning was continuously attacking the ice demon beast, none of it could break past her ice defense. After all, the scattered power of the Thunder God Barrier was unable to cause much threat to mysterious god-grade beings, as they were not attacks directly launched by the white tiger.
This guy is too difficult to deal with. My dark soul power has already locked it up, and I wouldn't be able to stop devouring its soul even if I wanted to. Old Eyes! Don't stop attacking. It won't last for long, eh? Who is it? The 2 demon beasts were completely focused on suppressing the white tiger and didn't dare to split their attention. They hadn't noticed Ling Chen when he had entered the Thunder God Barrier, and they didn't believe a human could survive in here. As such, they only noticed Ling Chen when he was 100 meters away from them. The ice demon beast suddenly looked over to Ling Chen, and when she saw him, she was stunned before crying out, "Old tyrant! It's him! It's the human I told you about who has the lunar scourge." The white tiger's request. What? That human?
The white tiger's struggling suddenly decreased as its roaring momentarily stopped. Ling Chen could feel that he was suddenly locked on to by an extremely dark and evil aura. He then heard a wave of wild laughter that seemed to come from a demon of the abyss.
Yeah, I see. That's indeed the lunar scourge. The heavens are helping my demon beast clan. We've hidden away for 10,000 years, and now the heavens have finally given us the chance to rise up again.
With the lunar scourge, Lord Demon Emperor will be able to be immediately revived, and will be 10 times as powerful as before. When that time comes, what can the Moon God clan do about us? We didn't even go to find this human, and yet he came to find us. The heavens really are helping my demon beast clan. Old Eyes, what are you doing? Hurry up and capture him, and take the lunar scourge. Are you an idiot? I already told you that he's obtained the Aquarius orb. My attacks are completely useless against him now. Otherwise, why would I be so helpless against a tiny human?
The ice demon beast angrily replied. Her ice blue eyes stared at Ling Chen with a strange look of excitement within them. She was unable to harm Ling Chen, but the tyrant demon beast was also here. With the tyrant demon beast's ability to steal and devour souls, he could possess this human's body, and the lunar scourge would belong to their demon beast clan. The sinister laughter once again sounded out.
That's right. Old Ice, at least try to suppress him so that he can't run away. After I've finished dealing with the white tiger, I'll devour this human soul. Do it yourself. With the Aquarius orb, I can't even lock him down with my ice. You can first take over the white tiger's power and paralyze him for a while.
The ice demon beast replied. Not only could she not damage Ling Chen, her attacks even healed him. Thinking to this ridiculous situation, She felt so depressed that she felt like coughing up blood. Not only her, but all water-type creatures and water-related professions would feel the same way.
Humph, I'll do that then.
The tyrant demon beast had already remembered the distant memory about the Aquarius orb, and didn't waste any words as the white tiger's gigantic body suddenly spun towards Ling Chen's position. The white tiger's purple eyes buzzed as a net of lightning that was tens of meters wide flew towards Ling Chen. With such a large net, even if Ling Chen activated Broken Shadow, he would be unable to dodge it. This lightning net contained no attack power, but could trap its target for a long time, as well as paralyze the target's entire body. Let alone escape, the target would not be able to even move. When the lightning net was released, the Tyrant Demon Beast and Ice Demon Beast were both shocked because the white tiger, which had been struggling the entire time, did not put up any resistance when this happened. Ling Chen deeply frowned as he watched the net coming closer and closer. He instantly judged that he would not be able to escape it, so he stood his ground. When the lightning net was 2 meters away from his body, a 3 to 4 meter wide gap suddenly appeared in the gigantic lightning net. Crackle! The lightning net hit the ground, and ground around Ling Chen crackled with electricity. However, Ling Chen was standing in the gap, and the lightning did not touch him at all. This scene caused Ling Chen's worried heart to become relaxed as he silently gave a cold smile. Looks like the heavens aren't helping your Demon Beast clan, but me, Ling Chen.
What's going on?
The Ice Demon Beast cried out in shock.
Humph, looks like this brat isn't as simple as he seems. Let's see how many times you can escape this.
The white tiger's body once again shot out a similar-sized lightning net. Once again, the white tiger did not struggle or resist at all, and when the lightning net neared Ling Chen, the same thing happened. Ling Chen did not move at all, but a large gap appeared in the net around him, leaving him perfectly unscathed.
Impossible.
The first time, it had been shocked. The second time, it had become enraged. The white tiger's body shone with a purple light as more than 10 lightning nets flew towards Ling Chen in succession. This was the limit for the white tiger, and even the Ice Demon Beast would suffer from such a barrage. However, Ling Chen continued to stand his ground. When the lightning nets reached Ling Chen, gaps appeared in all of them as they fell to the ground. The ground around was turned into a purple sea of lightning, but it was still completely fine around him. The lightning within the Thunder God barrier was extremely erratic, and even the Ice Demon Beast needed to be careful. However, not a single bolt of lightning hit Ling Chen.
This is impossible. Could it be that this human doesn't fear lightning? Impossible. Even if it's the lunar scourge, it has no way to resist lightning. Otherwise, how could the Shura have fallen at the Moon God clan's hands? Impossible.
The incredibly shocked Tyrant Demon Beast started to yell uncontrollably. It was simply unable to believe what was happening, and couldn't accept that there was a human who didn't fear lightning. Even if it was the incredibly powerful and terrifying Shura, he had been taken down by the divine tribulation lightning, as well as the 3 moon goddesses working together with the Void Dragon God.
Ha ha ha, Tyrant Demon Beast, what you said is correct. It isn't the young human who does not fear lightning.
An old, gentle and steady, yet weak, voice suddenly sounded out. Ling Chen immediately knew that it was the white tiger's voice. Only a majestic guardian beast would be able to speak with such a holy voice.
However, it's only my lightning that he does not fear. In other words, my lightning will never hurt him. White tiger, so it was your doing.
The Tyrant Demon Beast howled.
No, it's because he is protected by the Holy Qilin. The power of us 4 guardian beasts, Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird and Black Tortoise, were given to us by the Holy Qilin, which was our creator and leader. Although our power can cause large catastrophes, we can never hurt the Holy Qilin. This also applies for beings that are protected by the Holy Qilin. Our powers are unable to attack them, or even get close.
Holy Qilin? The tyrant demon beast's voice became hoarse.
Impossible. The Holy Qilin already died in the ancient times, and didn't even leave any descendants. This human, how could he possess the Holy Qilin's protection?
Ha ha ha. The gentle yet weak voice laughed tiredly, yet peacefully.
All these years, that's what I believed as well until today. So it turns out that the Holy Qilin's bloodline still continues in this continent. Although this bloodline's power is incredibly gentle and holy, it has lost all attack powers. However, us 4 guardian beasts will always be able to detect the Holy Qilin's bloodline. This is great. Tyrant Demon Beast, Ice Demon Beast, I thought that my fate was sealed, but it seems that things will not go as you wish. The mighty Holy Qilin has detected that the White Tiger's bloodline is in peril, and has brought this young human to save me. Neither of you will be able to escape judgment.
Holy Qilin? Ling Chen stared in shock before quickly turning around to look at Xiao behind him. Could it be? He suddenly remembered that back when he had entered the lava purgatory, the unbearable heat and flames had made it almost impossible for him to advance. He could only shout the vermilion bird's name in desperation that it would meet him. Finally, the vermilion bird's phantasm appeared, but it was not because of his calls, but because the Holy Qilin's descendant had called it. At that time, when Ling Chen had called the vermilion bird, Xiao had also called out to it. The Holy Qilin was one of the Forgotten Continent's 5 Saint Destroyer beasts, along with the Void Dragon God, Heaven Tiger, Blue Ocean Rage Shark, and Golden Crow. It was the first of the 5 Saint Destroyer beasts to perish. Could it be that Xiao really was the Holy Qilin's descendant? Within the lunar scourge, Xiao muttered to herself.
So it was like that. The Holy Qilin. Holy Qilin, he.
This was the tyrant demon beast's wild laughter.
White Tiger, you're celebrating too early. If the Holy Qilin still existed, its holy beast aura would have covered this entire region. However, there's not a bit of holy beast aura around here. Even if this human is protected by the Holy Qilin, does he really have the strength to allow you to escape from us? Escape? Ha.
The White Tiger lightly laughed.
My divine soul has already been half destroyed by you, and it'll never recover. However, your divine soul has also been half destroyed by me. Right now, your soul can only remain within my body. Once it leaves, even if you're the tyrant demon beast who possesses the strongest soul power out of the 10 ancient demon beasts, your damaged soul will quickly disperse. However, if my body dies, your soul will be forced to leave, resulting in it perishing.
Within the White Tiger's body, the tyrant demon beast felt extremely uncomfortable as it asked in a low voice,
White Tiger, what are you planning?
The White Tiger ignored the tyrant demon beast. The White Tiger's gentle voice sounded out from above Ling Chen's head.
Young human, although I don't know who you are, nor can I understand how you can possess the lunar scourge which should have been destroyed, but you evidently came here for me. I believe that it was the Holy Qilin who guided you here. Your arrival has caused my despair to turn into hope.
As such, young human, raise your weapon and attack my body, and as quickly as possible, kill me.
The White Tiger's words stunned Ling Chen.
White Tiger, you want him to kill you? Hey. Your body is no longer yours to control, and yet you think this tiny human is able to kill you? What a joke.
The tyrant demon beast coldly laughed. However, that laugh was filled with uneasiness.
Why wouldn't he be able to?
The White Tiger replied,
Although I'm unable to fully control this body, I'm able to control it enough to prevent it from escaping. Young human, listen to my words carefully. The tyrant demon beast has possessed my body and has nearly succeeded. However, during the course of this, its soul has also taken immense damage from my attacks, and it is no longer able to leave my body. As long as this body of mine dies, it will also die. If you're unable to do this, then after it possesses my body, it will use my body to cause catastrophes and cause my White Tiger clan's holy name to be tainted. As such, in order to protect my White Tiger bloodline's dignity and pride, please agree to my request. I will give you a sufficient reward. The Ice Demon Beast's attacks are useless against you, and the Tyrant Demon Beast's soul is stuck within my body. It can only use my power, while my power is unable to harm those who the Holy Qilin protects. As such, no matter if it's the Ice Demon Beast or the Tyrant Demon Beast controlling me, neither of them can harm me. You only need to continuously attack me. I beg of you, human protected by the Holy Qilin. The White Tiger's words caused the Ice Demon Beast's face to fall. The Tyrant Demon Beast also realized how serious the situation had become and started to roar out, "White Tiger, are you mad?" At this moment, Ling Chen completely understood the situation. He had taken a grave risk to come here to kill the White Tiger. However, what he completely did not expect was that upon arriving, the White Tiger had begged him to kill it. Moreover, he did not experience any danger at all. The powerful Ice Demon Beast and Tyrant Demon Beast were unable to harm him in the slightest. I understand. Ling Chen didn't show any signs of hesitation as he equipped his two weapons. Since it's like this, White Tiger, I'll do as you wish. The Fallen White Tiger, 1, White Tiger, Type, Guardian Beast, Grade, Mysterious God, Level, LV 100, HP, 823, 000, 000/5, 260, 000, 000. The White Tiger is one of the 4 main city's guardian beasts, and is the most powerful of them all. It has stood guard near the White Tiger City in the west of the Forgotten City all of its life, and is gentle and hates evil. It is righteous, holy, and protects the White Tiger City from disaster, and is even worshipped by the residents of the White Tiger City. Its attribute is lightning, and has incredibly powerful physical attack damage and defense. Its lightning can annihilate the heavens and the earth, as well as devastate mountains. It is essentially an invincible god among beasts. Passive abilities: absorbs all lightning element damage, and has powerful physical attack damage, as well as incredibly strong physical and magic defense. Has full immunity to all abnormal statuses and debuffs. Attack skills: Extreme Tiger's Might, Extreme Tiger's Soul, Extreme Tiger's Roar, Heaven-Splitting Tiger Strike, Cliff Annihilating Claws, White Tiger Earthquake, Tiger God Might, Flash of Lightning, Sky-Tearing Lightning, White Tiger Judgment, Purple Hell, World-Shaking Thunder, Evil Destroying Holy Thunder, Flash Lightning, Lightning Abyss, Death Thunder, Purple Castle, Purple Thorns, Lightning Wheel, Pulsating Lightning Armor, Rebellious God Light. Ultimate skills: Thunder God's Awakening, Lightning Rebirth Formation, Blessing, Thunder God's Bulwark. Weaknesses: does not have flying abilities, cannot regenerate HP while fighting. Xiao Hui's Eye of the Holy Spirit couldn't give Ling Chen detailed information on targets that were LV 100, but because it was the White Tiger, whose power had been given to it by the Holy Qilin, Ling Chen could see all of its information. This was the first time Ling Chen had seen a mysterious god grade being's stats, and its stats and power caused his heart rate to increase. However, at this moment, he didn't allow himself to waste any time. Although the Tyrant Demon Beast and Ice Demon Beast were currently unable to harm him, this would not necessarily remain the case. If this dragged on for too long and the White Tiger couldn't hold on, and the Tyrant Demon Beast took over the White Tiger's body, the consequences would be unimaginable. The White Tiger currently had less than 1/5 of its maximum HP, but still had more than 800 million HP. Even if Ling Chen stood and attacked it for half a day, he might not be able to kill it.
As such, Ling Chen decisively rushed up and shouted out as he activated Soul Sacrifice, instantly boosting his physical attack damage.
Ding! The Libra Orb's effects have been activated. Soul Sacrifice. S effects have been reset.
Ling Chen unhesitatingly charged up to the white tiger and sent out 2 Ling Tian slashes towards its front paws. Bang! Bang! Minus 58,800, minus 117,790. The damage these 2 attacks caused far surpassed anything the Tyrant Demon Beast or Ice Demon Beast expected. Based on the aura that Ling Chen gave off, the Tyrant Demon Beast thought that he would not be able to even break through the white tiger's defense. Even if he could break through the defense, the damage would be extremely pitiful, and it would be impossible for this human to kill the white tiger before it finished possessing it. However, when 2 explosions sounded out and waves of unimaginable pain rolled through it, the Tyrant Demon Beast madly roared.
No! This is impossible! The white tiger's defense is lower only to that of the black turtle. How could this weak human break through the white tiger's defense? And what's with this terrifying pain? It's the Cancer Orb that allows him to ignore all defense, as well as the Scorpio Orb that increases pain. This human has already collected those orbs as well.
The Ice Demon Beast yelled in shock.
Bastard!
The Tyrant Demon Beast roared hoarsely. It controlled the white tiger's body and leapt towards Ling Chen. Who could defend against the white tiger's might? With a slight thought, the white tiger could unleash world-destroying attacks that could crush players like ants. As the white tiger's body attacked, all of the air surrounding that region was forced out, creating a vacuum, and the pressure from its body caused depressions to form in the ground. However, before it could reach Ling Chen, it was as if it had crashed into a soft, yet firm barrier. No matter if it was the white tiger's body or power, neither of them could pierce through the barrier. This caused Ling Chen, who had been preparing to dodge, to feel completely at ease, and he once again rushed up to mercilessly attack.
Impossible! This is impossible!
The Tyrant Demon Beast went crazy and used the white tiger's body, claws, fangs, tail and breath to furiously attack Ling Chen. He was evidently an incredibly weak human who could be easily killed, and yet, no matter how much it tried, the white tiger's attacks simply couldn't reach him. Every time the attacks were about to hit him, they would be completely blocked. However, Ling Chen's attacks repeatedly fell on the white tiger's body, causing the Tyrant Demon Beast to scream out each time. Seeing that physical attacks couldn't reach him, the Tyrant Demon Beast sent out incredibly destructive lightning. The lightning seemed to fill the sky, and was more than 10 times more terrifying than the lightning from the Thunder God barrier. The lightning was incredibly dense and chaotic. In just an instant, the 1,000 meters around Ling Chen had become a purple lightning purgatory, and seemed to extend forever as it tore at the ground and space itself. However, only around Ling Chen was there no lightning at all. Countless bolts of lightning streaked towards him. Yet, as they neared him, they would rapidly turn and shoot in other directions, as if they were scared. The Tyrant Demon Beast repeatedly attacked with the lightning, but Ling Chen was not affected at all. Even his movements were not restricted in the slightest. Wherever Ling Chen walked, the lightning would avoid that place. A small pocket of calm seemed to move around within the sea of lightning. Bang! 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 Every time Ling Chen attacked, the attack would be followed by an explosion. With Soul Sacrifice activated, each set of attacks dealt at least 100,000 damage to the white tiger. If both attacks were critical hits, he would be able to deal over 200,000 damage in one set of attacks. He would also occasionally release, for corner star formations, and 1,000-kilogram Rens, both of which dealt a shocking amount of damage. The terrifying lightning forced the Ice Demon Beast to retreat afar away, and seeing Ling Chen completely unscathed within the lightning, as well as dealing impossibly high damage figures, her eyes almost fell out. With these sorts of attacks, if he could attack enough, even the incredibly powerful white tiger would not be able to last 3 hours. The possibility of the tyrant demon beast taking over the white tiger within 3 hours was incredibly low, and adding on the incomparable pain distracting it, was almost impossible.
Bastard! Old Ice, hurry up and help me kill him!
If the tyrant demon beast could use the demon beast clan's darkness power, it would be incredibly easy for it to destroy Ling Chen. However, now that it was stuck within the white tiger's body and was unable to escape, it could only use the white tiger's power. However, although the white tiger's power was about to kill this human thousands of times, it simply could not even harm a hair on his head. The tyrant demon beast started to panic. It knew that although the white tiger did not have much strength left, it was enough to prevent its body from running away. If this human continued to attack the white tiger, it would be killed by him soon. It was simply a matter of time.
Would I need you to tell me that if I could hurt him? He already has the goddamn Aquarius orb.
The ice demon beast, which was also incredibly anxious at this point, roared back.
Your ice can't hurt him, but you can still use your hands and feet. Arg!
Just as the tyrant demon beast finished yelling, it once again screamed in pain. As the second soul sacrifice effects were about to end, Ling Chen activated Battle Soul Possession and unleashed his 2 strongest attacks for Corner Star Formation and 1000 kilogram Rend. -193, 330309, 380. The greater the damage, the greater pain the tyrant demon beast felt. The white tiger's soul and tyrant demon beast were both within the white tiger's body, but since the tyrant demon beast held the majority of the control, the tyrant demon beast bore the majority of the pain from the Scorpio orb's effects. It was unable to hurt this human, and facing the immeasurable pain and impending doom, the tyrant demon beast started to think of feeling. However, just as it prepared to run, a cold laugh sounded out.
You want to escape? As long as even a shred of my soul remains, you won't be leaving.
The white tiger's body started to tremble, and its limbs started to furiously claw at the ground. The white tiger's head was raised to the sky as it roared out, but was unable to advance or retreat. It was trying to run away, but countless invisible ropes had tied it up.
White tiger, do you really think you can last until this human can kill you? Soon, your soul will disappear forever.
The tyrant demon beast shrieked. However, the white tiger laughed in response. It had also suffered some of the pain from the Scorpio orb, but it did not scream like the tyrant demon beast. In fact, its voice was still incredibly calm and gentle, as if it was enjoying Ling Chen's attacks.
Really now? We'll see about that. You bastard.
The tyrant demon beast was bordering on insanity. However, no matter how much it raged, it was unable to change the situation, and running away was a mere pipe dream. As such, it gathered all of its soul power and desperately tried to devour the white tiger's soul. After hearing the reminder from the tyrant demon beast, as well as seeing that the sea of lightning had receded, the ice demon beast gritted her teeth and quickly rushed towards Ling Chen. Her hand flashed as a 2-meter-long icicle appeared in her hands and stabbed towards Ling Chen's back. Although her ice attacks were useless against Ling Chen, this was a physical attack using her body's physical strength. Although her powers were focused on her ice attacks, she was still a mysterious god-grade being, and no matter how weak her physical attack damage was, it was still enough to deal serious damage to Ling Chen, or even insta-kill him. Of course, the prerequisite was that her attacks had to hit Ling Chen. The cold wind behind him drew nearer, but Ling Chen did not turn around. He swung the great Ravager behind him, smashing onto the ice demon beast's icicle and blocking it. The instant he parried the ice demon beast's attack, causing it to pause in surprise for a moment, Ling Chen suddenly turned around as a strange light flashed in his eyes, activating the utter despair curse. Out of the Feng Chen murdering heart curses Qin Feng possessed, the utter despair curse had the highest success rate. The first time Ling Chen had met the ice demon beast, she had fallen for it. This time, she would not escape it either. The icicle in the ice demon beast's hand fell to the ground as her eyes became extremely bleak. She looked at Ling Chen with an empty gaze, as if she didn't recognize him. Ling Chen stopped attacking the white tiger as he said in a low voice to the ice demon beast,
Ice demon beast, you feel quite lost, quite useless, don't you? You can't hurt me, and you can't even help your ally. Your demon emperor has already been dead for 10,000 years, but you still haven't been able to revive him. Instead, during these 10,000 years, you've all hidden like turtles in places where humans could not go, and lived incredibly humiliating lives. Aren't you just trash? Apart from wasting air, what other use do you have? What's the point in you continuing to live?
Ling Chen's words fell in the ice demon beast's ears, whose emotions had plummeted to rock bottom. Her unfocused eyes became even more lifeless as she muttered,
I can't do anything. I couldn't revive Lord Demon Emperor. I could only live in humiliation. What's the point of living? The point?
Ling Chen smiled as he continued to speak.
If you think there's no point in living, how about dying? After all, if you continue living, you'll only continue to suffer this humiliation. What about death then? If you die, you can be reborn as a new demon and start over again. Moreover, maybe after you've died, you might be able to meet that demon emperor of yours who has already died for 10,000 years. How wonderful!
The ice demon beast continued to lifelessly mutter,
Death reborn. Lord Demon Emperor. Lord Demon Emperor. I no longer have any reason to live. Let me die.
Whoosh! A gust of cold wind blew as a blue light and black light arose from the ice demon beast's body. This light then became a thick smoke, and when the blue smoke and black smoke intertwined, the ice demon beast's body started to fragment, then disappear.
Old Ice! Old Ice, are you crazy? What the hell are you doing?
This scene shocked the tyrant demon beast so much that he felt as if his soul was going to scatter. However, no matter how loudly he yelled, he was unable to get through to the ice demon beast, who was affected by the utter despair curse. The ice demon beast continued the process, and had already half disappeared within the smoke. Ling Chen, who had instigated all of this, watched with his mouth wide open. It was as if he was watching Long Tian Yun happily eat a pile of steaming dung. Holy crap! The ice demon beast committed suicide. It really committed suicide. The heavens can bear witness. I only casually tried it out, but never expected it would actually happen. However, this mysterious god-grade ancient demon beast had truly disintegrated herself. A gust of wind blew past, and there was not even a speck of the ice demon beast that remained. The smoke was also thinned out by the wind, and then completely disappeared. By now, the ice demon beast was well and truly gone. The tyrant demon beast madly screamed, while Ling Chen stood there, unmoving, with a fantastic expression on his face. That's right, he, a player, had used a Feng Chen curse to kill a mysterious god-grade beast. Ling Chen stretched out his hand and grabbed at his scalp as he inwardly marveled.
God, make someone hit me with a stick so I know this isn't a dream.
As the Feng Chen sect's successor, Ling Chen naturally did not doubt the might of the Feng Chen curses. However, he felt that a Feng Chen curse easily destroying a mysterious god-grade beast was a bit too cruel. If there was a hell, and the ice demon beast realized what had happened, she would probably destroy everything out of anger.
What's going on? Why would old ice suddenly self-disintegrate? Despicable human, what sort of witchcraft did you use?
The tyrant demon beast cried out, unable to accept what had just happened. It simply didn't believe that the ice demon beast, who had seemed perfectly fine just moments earlier, would commit suicide. The only reason was because of this human. Ling Chen turned around as his gaze became icy, and he coldly laughed.
You want to know the reason? Go ask her in hell. Young human, well done. With that, I can rest at ease.
The white tiger calmly spoke. It used the remnants of its soul to fix its body in place, not allowing its body to escape. After unexpectedly getting rid of the ice demon beast, there were no more obstructions to Ling Chen killing the white tiger. He nodded and replied to the white tiger,
As long as you can hold on, I won't disappoint you.
After saying this, Ling Chen once again rushed up and started attacking. Soul Sacrifice had a 3-minute cooldown time, but even without the Soul Sacrifice S buff, the damage he dealt was still quite impressive. Furthermore, the pain that the Scorpio orb added caused the tyrant demon beast to continuously scream, severely affecting its ability to devour the white tiger's soul. The white tiger's HP steadily fell, and although the speed was quite slow, the damage added up. By now, the tyrant demon beast only wanted to escape, but because of the white tiger's influence, escaping was simply wishful thinking.
Young human, I will hold on. Don't hesitate, and even more so, don't feel any pity or reluctance. Right now, death is my greatest desire, because of the release it will give. Moreover, the Holy Qilan's bloodline still exists in the Forgotten Continent, so as long as it doesn't die out, although I will die, the white tiger's bloodline will one day be reborn.
Ling Chen did not speak anymore, and began to attack with all he had. After all, he didn't have any reason to hesitate. He had come here to kill the white tiger. Ling Chen's attacks continuously fell like a cyclone on the white tiger's body. As soon as Soul Sacrifice S cooldown time was reset, he would immediately reactivate it. As soon as his 2 strongest skills cooldown times were reset, he would combine them with Soul Sacrifice to deal massive damage. He was attacking a guardian beast, an existence that even a city would not be able to take down. And yet, against a LV41 player, it did not retaliate or even run, and instead took each blow. Just like that, the white tiger's HP continued to fall. 1 hour later, the white tiger's HP fell to less than 600 million. Another hour later, the white tiger's HP fell to 300 million. Yet another hour. The tyrant demon beast's screams had become hoarse. During this period of time, it had tried countless times to escape, but hadn't been able to succeed, because the white tiger used everything it had to prevent its body from escaping. In the end, the tyrant demon beast began to despair and beg for mercy. These demon beasts all feared death, and this wasn't the first time Ling Chen had seen this. Back then, the war demon beast had even knelt down to Shi Ling to beg for mercy, and the shadow demon beast had pitifully begged the Shura to spare it. This tyrant demon beast also started to wail and cry out for mercy as the white tiger's HP came close to being emptied out.
Spare me. I don't want to die yet. There are still many things I want to do, and I want to see the day the demon beast clan is returned to its glory. Please spare me.
Have mercy. White tiger, let me run away. I'll immediately leave your body. I'll even be your slave.
Ling Chen gave a cold laugh as he raised the twilight spear.
Shut up. Before dying, you demon beasts are all like this. Go and die peacefully. The war demon beast, shadow demon beast, and ice demon beast are all waiting for you.
As Ling Chen spoke, the twilight spear stabbed towards the white tiger. The earth-yellow spearhead suddenly shot out a strange, colorless light.
What? You said that old war and old shadow have already. Arg.
The tyrant demon beast gave a final scream as the twilight spear soundlessly pierced into the white tiger's right paw. The strange light instantly spread throughout the white tiger's body, destroying even the tyrant demon beast and white tiger's souls. minus 210,400,000. This wasn't the first time Ling Chen had used Soul Demise. However, the effects of the Soul Demise he had used in the past could not even compare to 1/10,000 of the current one. Soul Demise took away 4% of the target's HP and had a 0.4% chance of instantly killing them. Against weak enemies, it was completely useless. However, against powerful enemies, it was his ace. The White Tiger's HP was finally cleared out by this Soul Demise.
Ding! You have successfully killed the LV-100 Mysterious God Grade Boss White Tiger. Because you killed the White Tiger was already in critical HP, you will only receive 20% of the rewards. Fame plus 200, 000. SP plus 200, 000. Ding! Congratulations, you have leveled up to LV-42, HP plus 20, MP plus 20, Strength plus 5, Agility plus 1, Spirit plus 1. Ding! Congratulations, you have leveled up to LV-43. Ding! Congratulations, you have leveled up to LV-48. Ding! Congratulations, you have leveled up to LV-49. Ding! Your pet Holy Spirit Beast Xiao Hui has leveled up to LV-49, HP plus 200, MP plus 5, Defense plus 20. Ding! Your pet Xiao Hui's skill, Holy Spirit's Aura, has leveled up to LV-10. Ding! Your pet Leng'er has leveled up to LV-49, MP plus 100, Magic Attack Power plus 20, Defense plus 10. Ding! Your pet Leng'er's skill, Sinlock, has leveled up to LV-3. Ding! Your pet Nine-Tailed Snow Fox has leveled up to LV-49, HP plus 1000, MP plus 200, Physical Attack Damage plus 100, Magic Attack Power plus 40, Defense plus 50.
When Ling Chen had started to attack the White Tiger only had around 20% of its HP left. As such, he only received 20% of the reward. However, although it was only 20%, it was a reward for killing a LV-100 Mysterious God Grade Beast. When he received the 200,000 fame and 200,000 SP, Ling Chen almost fainted with joy. What followed was rapid leveling up. A LV-41 player killing a LV-100 Mysterious God Grade boss was a completely heaven-defying act, and it was probably the first time something like this had happened in the history of the Forgotten Continent. Although Ling Chen only received 20% of the EXP reward and had the Heaven's Jealousy debuff, he was able to directly shoot from LV-41 to LV-49, and stopped at 98% of the LV-49 EXP bar. It was only millimeters away from LV-50.